Hello and welcome back to the Sports Gazette Live World Cup commentary. I am Lyle-Anthony Golding, and today we bring you the first of the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals. It's the High Flyers, the Samba Dancers, clashing with the often pragmatic, astute Croatia with a place in the Final Four on the line. I am here as always with my brother in arms,
Andrew Smith. Pleasure to be here as always, Lyle. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, and it promises to be an enticing affair, and I wouldn't rather bring you coverage with anyone else but Andrew Smith in studio. So as the teams come out to line up, just going to go into some pre-game analysis of these teams' last two games. Brazil, of course, had that 4-1 demolition of South Korea. What do you make of that game, Andrew?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a massive advantage today for Brazil. Obviously, they were 4-0 up after half-time, and obviously they were able to rest some of their players and have a little bit more of a passive approach to the game, whereas Croatia obviously went all the way to penalties with Japan. So I feel like that might just come into fruition today. We're also joined here today by my Irish brother Connor Keenan. We're just going to get a quick little reaction from him and what he thinks of the game. How you doing, Connor?
I'm good, mate. Pleasure to be here with you guys. Yeah, it's exciting. I think going into this, I think it's a pretty good tie for Brazil. I think Croatia going into extra time and Japan, they looked a little leggy. And then Brazil's game in their previous round was pretty much over at half-time against South Korea. So I think it's certainly advantaged Brazil, certainly in terms of fatigue of the players and quality on the pitch.
All right, and we just go now into the team's anthems, and it's first the anthem of Croatia. Croatia with some interesting team news today. Again, they go with a change up top. It's going to be Kramaric that goes through the middle. They've had quite a bit of a striker carousel throughout the tournament so far. Andrew, what do you make of it?
Yeah, obviously they started off first with Marco Levaya against Canada, and then they went for Bruno Pekovic against Japan. And I mean, Levaya done well. He got his goal, but Pekovic was poor, and obviously now Zlatko Dalic has opted to put Kramaric up top, and he's brought in Mario Paslic for his first World Cup start, so he'll obviously move out onto the right-hand side, Kramaric down the middle, and Perisic out on the left. But yeah, I think it's a positive change for Dalic, and it's a much-needed one given that dilemma he's had with the centre-forward at the World Cup so far.
And obviously Croatia, we know, so good in high-pressure scenarios. They had 3 extra time games in the 2018 World Cup on that famous finals run. They've already had 1 this World Cup, and they've only conceded twice this tournament. But Andrew, so have Brazil. Brazil have only conceded 2 goals as well, and they're going to be looking to exercise some demons from 2018 where they went out at the quarter-final there to Belgium.
Yeah, exactly. And Brazil have a bit of a European hoodoo at the moment in the World Cup. So since beating Germany 2-0 in the final in 2002, Brazil have lost each of their last 5 World Cup knockout stage games against European opposition. So maybe Croatia will look to that as a bit of a hoodoo that they can get over Brazil. But I think today Brazil will have too much for Croatia, and I reckon they will go through. But as you mentioned, Lyle, Croatia are experts when they get to the extra time and penalties, and I think that came into the game against Japan. They knew if they had got the penalties that they'd back themselves from the spot to win the game. So yeah, intriguing fixture we have on our hands here.
Very, very intriguing as we just get the Brazilian anthem ringing out with pictures of Richarlison on screen. What a play he's been in the tournament so far. Their leading goal scorer with 3 goals. 2 of them possibly goal of the tournament contenders. That second goal against South Korea was something special.
That second goal against South Korea was absolutely unbelievable, and I think a few Spurs fans will be hoping he can bring that form back to White Hart Lane. Or actually, no, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now. Look at me living in the past, lads. But yeah, obviously Richarlison hasn't really done it yet in a white jersey for Spurs, so it will be interesting to see how he performs at club level. But I mean, yeah, look at that star-studded lineup for Brazil. They have some serious talent in there, and obviously with Neymar coming in, they're unchanged from the last game, but with Neymar back in there, they have a lot greater chance of going the whole way. But we can't write Croatia off. They're a dogged defensive unit. Obviously, they have that trio in midfield who have been exceptional. Luka Modric hasn't been the best, but he is aging like a fine wine at club level, so we expect his performance to pick up. But Mateo Kovacic has had an absolutely exceptional tournament as well. Brozovic struggled in the last game, but I do expect him to come on a little bit better. But yeah, it's going to be an intriguing game, as I've said, Lyle.
And of course, the winner of this game will go on to face the winner of the game that we will have at 7 p.m. tonight, Argentina against the Netherlands. So we have something very, very spectacular to look forward to in the semis as well. Obviously, on the other side of the bracket, we have Morocco versus Portugal. And what's the other game, Andrew?
The other game is England versus Vive la France.
Yes, sir. So
And
we
if
have
we are
some.
accommodating our motto ABE, anybody but England. So, Allez Bleu, Connor, eh?
As we get into the lineups now, it's going to be first the lineup for Croatia. They stick with that trusted 4-1-2-3. Livakovic stays in goal. He's had a decent tournament so far. It's going to be Sosa coming back in at left back with Gvardiol and Lovren and Juranovic from right back. The trusted midfield trio of Modric, Brozovic, and Kovacic. Perisic from the left, Pasilic from the right, and Andrej Kramaric up top. Zlatko Dalic has opted against keeping Borna Barisic in at left back, going instead for the flying Stuttgart man who has a lovely wand of a left foot at left back in Sosa. Referee for this game is a very well-known referee here in England, Michael Oliver. Many people consider him the best English referee. Do you agree with that?
Controversial indeed, but we'll see how he performs today as we just get a look at the VAR team as well. It's going to be Paul van Boekel of Netherlands who's going to be leading the VAR team today. As we just have a look now at the Brazil side. So obviously they are unchanged from that drubbing of South Korea. Alisson returns in net after coming off for Weverton, just because Tite wanted to get everyone an appearance. Solid back four again. Eder Militao, the only kind of interesting dilemma is he comes in at right back. Lucas Paqueta, Casemiro and Neymar, who recovered from that injury, make up the midfield. And then Vinicius Jr., Richarlison and Rafinha make up the top three. And then obviously, as always with Brazil, they have a star-studded bench who they can call on. Numerous amounts of talent. You've Gabriel Martinelli, Bruno Guimaraes, Fabinho, Anthony Rodrigo. The names go on.
And obviously coming into this game, Andrew, there was some speculation in the Brazil camp whether they would keep this fairly attacking midfield because you have Neymar and you have Paqueta in the midfield. Two, I'd say both of them are more of 10s than 8s. And then it's Casemiro sitting on his own in the defensive midfield. And you're going against a midfield of Brozovic, Kovacic, and Modric. So I think it's a very brave decision from Tite to keep this attacking midfield as against going for Bruno Guimaraes. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think the game is going to be won and lost in midfield today. But I'd just like to give some considerable credit to Casemiro. I think he's actually been exceptional in this tournament. And I think given the fact that Paqueta is in there, who is more predominantly an attacking sort of player, I think Casemiro has accommodated him so well, and the defensive onus has been on him. But I mean, as we mentioned, Lyle, this is our third time covering Croatia now. Luka Modric, Brozovic, and Kovacic, they're star-studded trio midfield, but they haven't really clicked. You know, Kovacic has been the standout, but the three of them haven't got going yet. And I think today might be the day that we see him finally getting over. But yeah, as I mentioned, the game is going to be won and lost in midfield today.
Fantastic game in prospect. Just seconds away from kickoff, the Brazilians huddled up. One final team talk. Luka Modric ready to kick off for the Croatians. Michael Oliver set to get us underway at Education City Stadium in Qatar. FIFA World Cup quarterfinal. And we're off. Croatia kicking from left to right in that famous red and white checkered kit. Brazil in the equally famous yellow and blue kicking from right to left. And obviously you're tuned into the Sports Gazette live World Cup commentary. Remember, you can follow us on all social media. At Sports Gazette on Twitter and TikTok, at Sports Gazette UK on Instagram. And of course, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to our YouTube. Marquinhos on the ball now for Brazil. It's Danilo back to Neymar. You know how much he likes to drop into the midfield, get on the ball. Tite may just want him to be careful with the challenges that he goads in today. We know he still was nursing that ankle injury, and we're still not too sure exactly if he's 100%, but today will prove telling as Paqueta gets it back to Rafinha. Richarlison looks to keep possession but loses out to Ivan Perisic. It's going to be a Croatia throw.
Well, we've just seen it there earlier with Marcelo Brozovic, quick to the challenge in on Richarlison. But I mean, that's going to be huge for Dalic and his midfield today. Neymar's going to obviously be dropping deep, collecting the ball, trying to play it together. And that midfield trio are going to have to get on him fairly quickly in order to stop the swift Brazil attack. So it's going to be interesting in there.
Of course, Tite was dancing away with his players in the win against South Korea. I think he may just be a bit more concerned with this Croatian outfit. But the Brazilian fans, they're already dancing in the crowd. As Brazil immediately winning back from the throw-in, and now it's Marquinhos. Back to Alisson.
Well, interestingly, Lyle, Dejan Lovren said that he had no issues with Brazil dancing. He said the Brazilians were born with songs and dance, so, I mean, he obviously has no problem with it.
Yeah, but don't ask that question to Roy Keane, obviously. What a dinosaur. As we get on the way here with Danilo from the left. Back to Alisson. Everyone in this Brazilian backline so comfortable on the ball. It's Eder Militao now. Hooks it forward. Lovely flick from Paqueta, who gets it back from Richarlison, but it's Kovacic doing so well in the midfield, and he's driving forward into the heart of the Brazilian defense, and it's going to be a foul against Casemiro on the first free kick of the game.
Yeah, great run there by Mateo Kovacic. Has been a trademark of him in this tournament, just galloping through the challenges and drawing the foul out for Casemiro. Brilliant stuff from the Chelsea man.
Such a midfield maestro. So good dribbling with the ball as Brozovic stands over this free kick, and the first opportunity for the Croatians to get their big centre-backs forward is taken short to Modric, who plays it into the box, and it's an easy header out for Casemiro. And the Croatians will look to build once again with Juranovic all the way back to Dominik Livakovic. Vinny putting on the press, and Liva goes long. Big header from Marquinhos, but it falls only to Dejan Lovren, who had a fantastic game against the Japanese. He was our man of the match in that game.
Interesting to see the position he takes up, Lyle. Very attacking.
Camped inside that Brazilian half as Modric looks to take a touch, and he just left his boot high on Richarlison there. No malice, no ill intent from the midfielder.
Rough challenge there. But what do you make of that, Lyle, with Dejan Lovren? Obviously, we've seen in the Japan game, he put in an absolute sumptuous cross for that Ivan Perisic equaliser. And I mean, he's taken up a very advanced position here at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, and we've seen from the Croatians a lot this tournament, them sitting back. But in the first 3 or so minutes of this game, it's looked promising with how high they're looking to get up the pitch as Thiago Silva looks to play it forward. And it's going to find its way to Vinicius Jr. one-on-one with Juranovic. Vinny cuts inside looking for options. Shifts to his right foot. Plays it back. It comes all the way around to Casemiro now. Eder Militao. And the Croatians do well to force the Brazilians back. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if Dejan Lovren just looks to pick up those pockets of space in the right-hand channel when Croatia are on the ball. As Marquinhos again looks for the long diagonal to Vinicius Jr., who's been given a lot of space by Juranovic. Vinny has time to cross, and it's deflected, but it comes right back to him. Vinny has a hit, and it's going to be comfortable for Livakovic to claim.
Yeah, pretty routine stuff there for Livakovic. But a lot of space out on that left-hand side again for Vinicius Jr., and that'll be a concern early on here for Zlatko Dalic. He was given far too much time on the ball for a player of his quality, Lyle.
And if you scouted the Brazilians this tournament, they love that diagonal from right to left over to Vinicius Jr. It's also from left to right as they win it back high up the pitch, and Rafinha's moving back into the midfield, and he plays the ball looking for Vinicius Jr., but he just had too much on it. But yeah, it's been a feature of their game, those long diagonals to their wingers who love to stay high and wide. And when you have wingers of the quality of Rafinha and Vinicius Jr., it's very dangerous to give them space. But obviously the Croatians are looking to stay compact here.
Yeah, and we just seen how good Brazil are in the press there. They just forced Croatia into a really sloppy pass. I think it was from Dejan Lovren. And they're on him in a flash. Rafinha tries to quick pass in towards Richarlison, but just too much on it.
As the Croatians now come forward. Pasalic into Brozovic. Good challenge from Casemiro, but Brozovic still has it under pressure from Paqueta as well. And the Croatians come away with it with Pasalic, and he can switch it out wide now for Sosa. Promising stuff for Croatia here. It's a good challenge from Eder Militao. Fantastic defensive work, and he's got Richarlison up with him.
Brilliant stuff from Militao.
Kovacic does well to get it back, and it's just a bit of a battle in midfield here as Sosa comes forward, and Militao does once again very well to get a touch on it. And it's going to go all the way across, and Danilo cannot keep it in. It's going to be a throw. It's going to be a Brazilian throw, actually, so.
Yeah, it looked like it just took a touch on the far side there, but very, very frantic start here at the moment, Lyle. I mean, you just mentioned that midfield battle going on there at the moment, and passes are going astray. Tackles are flying in. Very, very hectic start.
Thiago Silva in his own corner flag, very composed, plays it to Casemiro, and the Brazilians are out with Richarlison, who just tried to flick it onto Vinicius Jr., but Croatians did well with Juranovic to pick it off, and now they can reset. Gvardiol, what a player he's been this tournament.
Absolutely exceptional, Lyle.
Generational talent at centre half as it's played over now to Sosa. Back to that man, Josko Gvardiol. Into the feet of Kovacic. It's going to be very interesting how well the Croatians can play into their midfield players with this Brazilian press. Obviously, we know they have the potential to go along with the ball as it's played out to Juranovic now. But the Brazilians, we know they press in that 4-4-2 with Neymar coming up alongside Richarlison as we see that now. And Gvardiol just dinks it out to Pasalic. And now Luka Modric, a lovely ball over, looking for Juranovic, who's got space. Thiago Silva comes to meet him. Juranovic plays it across, and Militao has to deal with this, and he does. And it's going to be a foul against Ivan Perisic.
Well, I mean, that's the advantages of having Eder Militao at right back. Little crossfield ball there for Juranovic. Perisic flying in, who obviously scored that header from a similar sort of position against Japan. Militao, too strong, too dominant in the air. That's a really good clearance as he draws the foul from Ivan Perisic.
Brazil now once again come forward, and it's going to be another foul, this time against Sosa. As we see, once again, the Brazilian fans always in good spirit.
Yeah, huge expectation on Brazil from the fans. I mean, only Germany have reached the semi-final of the World Cup more times than Brazil. So huge expectations on this nation.
Of course, the most successful nation in the history of our beautiful sport, as Neymar shifts over to the left-hand channel. He's driving forward with the ball, looks to cut inside. Brozovic as well, and then it's going to be surely handball. Michael Oliver says nothing doing, but I thought for sure Juranovic handled there.
Yeah, strange that, Lyle.
Juranovic can come forward and play it to Modric, who gives it away to Rafinha. Oh, and it's a poor touch from the Barcelona man, but he does well to win a foul, and that was really poor play in the midfield from Luka Modric, the last person you expect.
Shaky stuff here from Croatia. Obviously, Brazil are forcing errors right, left and centre, but seemed pretty routine there for Luka Modric, and a man of his quality should be doing a lot better with that pass.
Militao. Rafinha dispossessed well by Sosa, and Kovacic can drive into the midfield, play it back to Luka Modric, and Croatia are off. It's Perisic. Perisic looking to shift the ball into the box, and it's too much on it for Pasalic, and it's going to come all the way through to Danilo. And now it's Vinicius Jr. from deep inside his own half. Plays it back to Thiago Silva, and there's not much Croatian press, and the Brazilians can once again play out.
Yeah, really good stuff there from Brazilians just to get out. Croatia with the high press, but very ineffective when you have such good ball players as Brazil do.
Yeah, and we did see the South Koreans be very ambitious with the way that they pressed, and they kind of left themselves open at times for Brazil, and that was why I think for a lot of those goals we saw the Korean defense so wide open as Neymar just collects the ball on the left-hand channel. It plays into Vinicius, who's got some space here. Vinicius Jr. onto his right foot, and it's a poor pass, and it's right into the path of Sosa. But the Brazilians have it again. It's over to Rafinha. Rafinha looking to twist and turn away from Sosa, and he does well, but I think the ball may have just gone out, and it has.
Yeah, we've just seen a good bit of attacking display there from Brazil. Looks like Neymar and Vinicius Jr. is just chopping and changing from left and centre at the moment. Vinicius comes inside, really good opening. He just gets out the Croatian back four, and the pass out to Rafinha is just a little bit under hit. Really good play again from Brazil. They cut Croatia to pieces there in midfield.
Yeah, and there seems to be a lot of space between those midfield and defensive lines of Croatia. That's 2 or 3 times now we've seen Vinicius pick up those pockets, and no one has closed them down, and it's very dangerous to have a player of his quality with that much time on the ball.
Exactly, Lyle. And we mentioned Dejan Lovren earlier in the game, just saying how he is pushing so far forward. And I mean, he got caught out there horribly, and he was backpedaling against Vinicius Jr., which you never want as a centre half. So I mean, it's going to be interesting, and I think Croatia need to be a little bit more tight-locked here as they try to siege under this Brazil press again.
Marquinhos looking again for that diagonal. It's a lovely ball into Neymar. I think the flag may have just been raised, and it was. And we spoke on the Sports Gazette World Cup podcast. If you haven't, check it out. The links are on our Twitter. It's on Spotify. Me and the host, one of our executive producers, Jackson Fuller, we spoke about the Korean performance and the fact that going forward, if more teams would try and adopt that high press, try and go at Brazil. And I predicted that the Croatians wouldn't. I thought they would sit back, but so far they've been trying to press high, but they certainly haven't been sitting back so far in this game, as we see Sosa looking to come forward now.
Yeah, I mean, not to resort to a cliche phrase, but it's all about giving Brazil too much respect. Like, I mean, I know they have so much talent on the pitch, but the only way you're going to beat them and get at them is if you go at them and press quite high against them, which Croatia look to be doing at the moment. But, I mean, Croatia against Japan, they were at 1-1, and when they scored the equaliser, they didn't even look like they wanted to go on and win the game. They looked content with a draw.
It's Neymar just looking to get the crowd on their feet with a few flicks and tricks, but gives away the ball. It's going to be a Croatian throw. And Tite just encouraging his superstar to come back a little bit. Croatia throw for Juranovic. Now it's Gvardiol inside his own half, and the Croatians can build. Lovren Neymar looking to put the press on Livakovic. Keeper is very composed to play to Lovren, and then Lovren can play out to Juranovic. And the Croatians are off now with the flying right back. And Juranovic is driving through the heart of the Brazil defense, and he's played it out to Pasalic, who plays the ball in. It's a good ball, and it's Perisic who was in. And somehow he couldn't get any connection on it. Fantastic chance for the Croatians, and it was Juranovic there in the build-up.
Yeah, what a drive there from Josip Juranovic. Casemiro just didn't have the pace to get across to him. Shifts it out towards Mario Pasalic as an absolute fizzer into the box. And I think it was Ivan Perisic in there. It was Kramaric too. And Juranovic. They just, none of them can get a touch. Half chance that for Croatia, Lyle.
Yeah, and I mean, if Perisic gets good contact there, he surely can test Alisson, but he applauds the effort from Pasalic. As you know, Brazil have lost their last 5 World Cup knockout games against European competition, and they're very close to going behind again. Zlatko Dalic would have loved a goal there, as Brazil can play out now with Marquinhos.
Yeah, you mentioned it there, Lyle. Brazil are wanting to banish a few demons here. I think in particular, Belgium in 2018, that Kevin De Bruyne goal was a really, really bad night for Brazil. There's a chance here for Perisic as it goes out for a corner. Good block there by Eder Militao, Lyle.
Yeah, very good defending from the centre-back / right-back, and the Croatians now just now getting on the front foot. 13 minutes played, still 0-0, but it's going to be the first corner of the game for Croatia. Luka Modric over to take it, and they have 2 Brazilians now coming over to guard the short corner. But Lovren and Gvardiol both coming up, looking to see if they can make an impact here and trouble Alisson.
Hard man to trouble these days, Lyle.
No bias at all from you. Corner comes in from Modric, and it's poor. Doesn't beat the first man, and Richarlison can get it out. And it comes all the way back to Marcelo Brozovic. It's a lovely little chip ball to Kovacic, who can look to rebuild the attack, and he looks to play it into Perisic, but Marquinhos does well to shepherd it back to his shot stopper.
Yeah, Croatia just looking to maintain the attack. Oh, Modric has nipped it from Casemiro here,
Modric
Lyle.
does really well, and he's looking to find an option, and he keeps going. He shifts in across, and it's going to be easy for Militao to get it out. And there's another header from Danilo, but the Brazilian's looking a bit shaky here in possession as Neymar looks to pick it up. Does really well to keep it in, and then he wins the throw in. He does well there to give his team reprieve, but the Croatians are winning the ball high up, and Michael Oliver just urging the Brazilians to take their time, but interesting stuff there.
Well, we just touched on Brazil pressuring Croatia, but it's a decent enough throw from Alisson. Pretty routine for Casemiro to turn, and that is so poor from a man of his expertise. Modric pips him, gets a cross in, but Militao does well at the back post again, but very sloppy stuff again from Brazil there.
Yeah, and we're seeing like both teams have struggled to wake up here 50 minutes in, and might not be far away from an opening goal. As Marquinhos now on the ball into the feet of Paqueta. I haven't said his name much so far. It's Danilo. Paqueta. Over to Eder Militao. Marquinhos put under pressure by Kramaric. Thiago Silva into Paqueta, who's now just dropping deep, looking to get some possession. Rafinha into Paqueta, back to Rafinha. Now the Brazilians looking to turn it up a little. Danilo. Casemiro looking for the through ball, and it's going to be all the way through for a Croatia goal kick.
I mean, Croatia certainly don't look like a side who went 120 minutes against Japan. They're shuttling from left to right, very, very compact at the moment. And I mean, even for that press, Luka Modric was out like a flash onto Casemiro and forced the error. So I mean, it seems like that narrative is completely wiped here in this opening 15 minutes, still 0-0.
Yeah, and of course, Croatia had that massive amount of rest between their last game on the 5th of December, and you can tell here they're pretty fresh against these Brazilians. Marquinhos now on the ball, plays it to Danilo. And now the Brazilians once again build from the back with Thiago Silva, their captain. Alisson. Thiago Silva again on the ball. Croatian press has just receded a bit, allowing Brazil to have a hold of the ball inside their own half, and it's Neymar once again dropping deep and plays a lovely ball into Paqueta. Plays to Casemiro, and the Brazilians now venture into the Croatians' half, but only for a few moments. Rafinha on the ball.
You just touched on it there, Lyle, with Croatia just opting to back out of the press that time, but I mean, it is touch and go with the press for Croatia. We've seen it in previous games, but I mean, do so at your own will against this Brazil side. But at the moment, they're nice and compact, and Brazil's struggling to break them down at the moment.
Yeah, and you just see with their two advanced midfielders, lovely bit of skill from Neymar to drive away from Pasalic, but it's a poor pass, and Croatians are back on it now with that man. Pasalic plays it into the feet of Kramaric, who's got a bit of time on the ball here, and the Croatians can look to build possession, and that they do. Over to Gvardiol, into the feet of Kramaric, and he was a poor pass, and Militao can get there, and it's going to be a Brazilian throw. Marquinhos now into the feet of Casemiro. Switches it over to Vinicius Jr., who can once again go one-on-one to Juranovic. Lovely outside of the foot pass idea. Falls to Paqueta. Looking for Rafinha, who's got the pace to get at Sosa, but Sosa does really well, albeit giving up the throw in.
Yeah, Borna Sosa has looked very, very good in this tournament so far, and he'll have his work cut out to him today against Rafinha.
Ball into the feet of Richarlison, looking to spin against Gvardiol, but it's a double team. And the Croatians defend very well there with Brozovic coming in to help out his centre half, and they play out so well there. And Luka Modric now with space to drive into the midfield. He's got options left and right. Modric driving forward, plays it to that option in Pasalic. He's got Juranovic bombing forward, and he uses his right back. One-on-one here, Juranovic looking for support, and there's not much by way of numbers forward for Croatia, but it's shifted wide here to Kramaric. Cuts in on his right foot. Kramaric looking to have a hit, and it's Paqueta with a decent block, and it's a good venture forward there for the Croats. It's
Yeah, good spell here at the moment for Croatia, Lyle.
Going to be all the way back to Livakovic, and certainly here for Croatia, they haven't been sitting back. They have been going at Brazil when they get the opportunity, and we need that for the game as a contest for sure. As Kovacic on the ball. Now Modric. Lovely drop of the shoulder, but put under pressure by Vinicius. Back to Kovacic. Chelsea man still on the ball, and he looks for the switch over to Ivan Perisic, but it's under hit, and Militao can collect it easily and play it into the feet of Paqueta. Over to Danilo. Now Casemiro. Casemiro still on the ball, and again we see the Croatian press just easing off when Brazil have the ball in their own half. It's Rafinha on the ball now, met by Borna Sosa, close to halfway. Back now with Marquinhos, and Brazil, we know, undefeated in their last 4 games against Croatia. 3 wins and a draw as the ball comes forward to Neymar and now Vinicius Jr. as they look to keep that record going. Vinicius from the left-hand side, cuts inside on his right foot. Still going, Vinicius looking to dance. Plays it into Richarlison. Back to Vinicius Jr. It's a good block by Gvardiol, and Sosa has to get it out.
Oh, great play of that from Brazil. Vinicius just darting in. Does Brazil come again here, Lyle?
It's Neymar on the ball, edge of the box. Shifts it back to his left foot. Neymar driving into the heart of the defense, and his shot is once again comfortable for Livakovic.
Yeah, first good openings there for Brazil. First with Vinicius Jr. He just drives at the Croatia back 4. And Richarlison just pins, I think it's Dejan Lovren, gives the 1-2 back to him, and Vinicius, I think it's just blocked by Josko. Gvardiol will just take a look here again. Yeah, lovely from Richarlison, Vinicius, and then it's Gvardiol in there with the big block, and then Neymar obviously has that half chance, but really, really good stuff there from Brazil.
And they come forward again now with Paqueta. Plays into the feet of Neymar. Oh, I look for the through ball to Vinicius Jr. It was just slightly overhit maybe. But you can see in a flash the Brazilians look to turn it around.
Yeah, really good stuff there again from Brazil. They win the ball high up the pitch. Neymar just tries to tread a little slider of ball in for Vinicius, but it's just overcooked. As Dejan Lovren gives it back to Livakovic, who goes long and straight into Thiago Silva. And you can just see Croatia pinned back again here. They're just going to be a little bit more conservative at the moment here, live with Casemiro on the ball here for Brazil. Lovely reverse fall from Paqueta. And Brazil back on it here with Marquinhos.
It's now Militao. 20 minutes played here. And Marquinhos gives it away uncharacteristically. And the Croatians now back on it with Sosa. Who can go forward. Go backwards, to Livakovic, who goes long now to Juranovic. Vinicius looking to press. But the Croatians can build now with Dejan Lovren back to his keeper once more.
I mean, just touching on that little Brazil foray of attack there a couple of moments ago, Lyle, that was a huge block from Guardiola, and that's why he's got into the Sports Gazette team of the group stage. And I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. Last-ditch defending, but vitally important for Croatia back there.
And if he keeps it up, he's going to surely make it into the Sports Gazette team of the tournament.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And you could expect that article to come out as soon as this tournament comes to a close, with that lovely final in prospect on December 18th. As Brazil come forward, they hope to be in that final, but not if Croatia have something to say about it. Militao on the ball. Over to Paqueta. Looking to dance with Perisic. Plays it into the box, and it's poor, and Lovren elects to go back out with it. It's a lovely touch from Richarlison, who plays it back to Casemiro, and couldn't replicate his goal against the Swiss there.
Yeah, poor ball there from Paqueta in true. He just kind of lofts a hopeless ball in towards Richarlison, who's completely penned by Lovren and Gvardiol, but ball falls back out to Casemiro and just takes a deflection for Brazil's first corner of the game.
It's going to be Rafinha of Barcelona to take it. Big bodies coming forward, of course, for Brazil. Thiago Silva, Marquinhos. Can they get a good cross in? Rafinha with the ball in, looking in for Marquinhos, and it's a good header away from the Croatians, and then Paqueta fouls Luka Modric to prevent the counter-attack.
Yeah, Croatia had numbers bombing forward there, and it's probably wise from Lucas Paqueta just to bring down Luka Modric, who at 37 years of age still has a brilliant turn of pace on him, doesn't he, Lyle? And with his appearance in the quarter-final, he's the oldest midfielder to play in a World Cup quarter-final since Lothar Matthäus in 1998.
Great stat there.
Incredible.
The Sports Gazette statisticians
That's a
will
tough
love that
one.
one. Yes, it's a tough one for me. Bit of a heavy tongue there. As Croatia on the ball now with Juranovic. All the way back to Brozovic, who's taking up a position at centre half. Vardiol. Now Marcel Brozovic. Kovacic rides the challenge well of Paqueta and then looks to play it forward for Juranovic. It's a lovely ball, and Juranovic can take a touch. And Danilo comes across there, and he had a high foot. And I think the referee may have blown his whistle, and he has his yellow card out. First card of the game, and it's going to go against the Brazil left back.
I think Perisic might have been protesting red there, but really good play from Juranovic again. Great control on his head, and he just charges. And I mean, that's a really rash challenge coming from Danilo. He makes no contact with Juranovic's head, but it's still dangerous play, and I think yellow card is the right decision. And I don't think there's much protest from Danilo either, so he obviously agrees.
Yeah, he came across, won the ball, but his foot was very, very high, and it, as Andrew said, it didn't catch the face of Juranovic, but nonetheless dangerous play, and it's the game's first yellow card. As the Croatians there, coming out to the fourth official, I think they really want to protest that should have been a red card, but nothing doing for Michael Oliver, as Modric has a free kick in a dangerous position, right side of the box, just on the edge. One-man wall for Brazil, and the Croatians now with a very, very good opportunity here. Kramaric, Vardiol, Lovren, all in there. Everyone in the box for Brazil.
Good opportunities for Croatia here, Lyle.
Modric to take. Lofts it into the near post, and it's again a poor delivery, and it's easy for the Brazilians to win it back, and Neymar wins a foul on the edge of his own box, and it's reprieve for Brazil.
Yeah, speculative effort coming in there from Borna Sosa, as we just see the Brazil fans in all their luminous colours of yellow. It's incredible wall you can see behind the Alisson's goal there.
And of course, as we mentioned, coverage tonight of Netherlands versus Argentina starts at 6:30 UK time. The game starts at 7. What a game in prospect that's going to be. Gakpo versus Messi.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible game, I think. Both sides have been rather unconvincing, but Netherlands look very, very impressive in their 3-1 win over USA. Argentina, obviously, with that 2-0 win too, so it's going to be an enticing game.
Marquinhos now on it. Into Danilo. Neymar gives it back to him, encouraging his fullback forward, and now it's Vinicius Jr. once again one-on-one with Juranovic, and quickly gets support there from Pasalic, and the Croatians have it back. And they look to play out, but it's going to be Brozovic heading it forward, but Danilo heads it back and then wins it back. It's very, very dogged defense here from both teams, and Casemiro throws a challenge in, and Eventually, the ball comes forward and Croatia have it, but then it's back with Brazil, and a bit of a kerfuffle there from the left-hand side, but Brazil come away with possession now, and they build once again with Thiago Silva. Now Marquinhos. Marquinhos into the feet of Neymar. Looking to turn the screw, and it's a good challenge from Kovacic, and Croatia can look to counter, but not very eager to flood numbers forward here. As you see, pressure's applied. It's all Croatia. Kovacic leading the way with 20, but it's that Croatian midfield putting in that hard work.
I mean, we mentioned at the start of the game where this game will be won and lost, and Croatia's 3 midfielders topping the recoveries there at the moment. You just see a recent one there with Neymar up against Kovacic, crunch and challenge just to stifle Brazil's break. And I mean, at the moment, Croatia are certainly dominating. That's a loose ball from Brozovic.
False to Rafinha. And it's going to be a foul, I think, against Gvardiol on Rafinha, but there was a chance there for the Brazilians, and we've seen that a couple times from both teams, really just sloppy in possession, allowing their opposition to get on the ball in a dangerous position, and that time the Brazilians couldn't make anything of it, but they do have the free kick now. As you see, I think it was Ivan Perisic, it might have been, that gave the ball away. Just waiting on the replay. Michael Oliver with a lovely, his name printed in the back of the jersey.
Well, I mean, we've seen it with Luka Modric just lofting a looping ball into the air, just hopelessly into the middle of the park. And you know Brazil players are going to be pressing on it. And I mean, I don't blame Josko Gvardiol there for bringing down Rafinha. And I think he's a lucky boy not to get a yellow card there, Lyle. There was a serious overload there for Brazil on the left-hand side.
Neymar and Rafinha stand over it. It's going to be Neymar to loop it to the back post, looking for Casemiro, who can't hook it back goalwards. It's going to remain in possession of Brazil with Thiago Silva, who's forced backwards by Kramaric. Danilo. Lovely control there from Eder Militao, and he has it back once again and plays it into Casemiro. Now Paqueta. Over to Rafinha. Rafinha. Now for Paqueta. And then Militao. Brazil just looking to turn the corner here. Militao plays it into the box. It was a good header from Casemiro, trying to flick it onto Neymar, but just missed him, and Juranovic can clear for the Croatians. Lovely 1-2 with Luka Modric, and Juranovic once again bombs forward down this right-hand side. Another lovely 1-2, that time with Pasalic, and Juranovic is way forward now. Switches it over to Perisic. One-on-one with Eder Militao. Perisic cuts inside. Perisic has a hit. Very, very speculative there from the Spurs man.
Lovely move again from Croatia. Juranovic, who Connor Keenan didn't back before the game, is having a wonderful first half, and now we're here linking up well with Mario Pasalic, and then Luka Modric, and then a beautiful crossfield ball over to Ivan Perisic. A couple of step overs up against Militao. Drives on his right foot, but speculative in the end.
Of course, Croatia's all-time leading goal scorer in major tournaments, Ivan Perisic, looking to extend that record tonight. Half an hour played here inside Education City Stadium. Still Croatia 0, Brazil 0, and you're still listening to the Sports Gazette live World Cup commentary. Of course, remember to follow us on all social media as Neymar. Oh, it's a lovely little nutmeg on Brozovic, who cynically drags him back, and it's going to be the second yellow card of the game, this time for Brozovic, and that's going to be a crucial yellow card with the amount of players that love to drop deep for Brazil, as we see this here. Neymar, oh, it's just lovely.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff from Neymar. Trademark, really. Just drop at the shoulder. Little nutmegs on Brozovic. I mean, he's only forced to bring him down, and routine yellow card, really.
Free kick tried to be taken quickly there from the Brazilians, but I think the referee has just called it back. Maybe taking it too quickly there, a bit too eager from Neymar. And as we see confirmation, Marcelo Brozovic with that yellow card. And the free kick is given away from Brazil, and now Croatia come forward with Kramaric. And now Perisic. Not much by way of numbers forward, but he looks to play it into the path of Kramaric, and it's going to be a Brazil throw in the end. As Militao looks to take it quickly. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Maybe looking for Vinicius. And the Brazilian press does not affect Josko Gvardiol. It's a lovely little pass, and he's still bombing forward the center half. And Sosa's been put under pressure by Militao, who's fouled Sosa, excuse me.
Yeah, stunning stuff there from the young Leipzig centre half. Just drives out, gives it to Borna Sosa, and it's just a foul there maybe from Lucas Paqueta on Sosa. And Croatia can rebuild here, Lyle.
Luka Modric.
But I mean, I think it's fair to say, like, we are seeing Croatia's expertise come into this. Obviously, our statistician man over here, Connor Keenan, has just provided me with a stat that Croatia are unbeaten in quarterfinals, 2 games that they have played in quarterfinals, and they're really showing their expert.
Juranovic on the ball, looking to switch it wide, and Alisson has come, and he's punched. It's going to be easy for Rafinha to claim. Lovely bit of dummies there from him to evade the pressure of Perisic, and Militao goes long, and Brazil are out. It comes right back to the Croatians there.
Great crossfield ball again from Juranovic. Just put Alisson under pressure there, Lyle.
Yeah, force him to punch instead of catching, as Modric plays it into Pasalic. That man again, Juranovic. Luka Modric. Pasalic from the right. Modric drops the shoulder on Neymar. So many technicians out there. Really is the peak of our game, the World Cup. Best players in the world going at it. Here's Richarlison. Looks to shift it away from Kovacic, but Chelsea man does very well, and Gvardiol turns the afterburners on to get the ball back to Livakovic. Juranovic, a lovely little flick there to get it into the path of Pasalic. Now Juranovic, who's been one of Croatia's best players so far in this first half.
That was an outrageous flick from Juranovic there, Lyle.
Absolutely filthy.
Filthy, some would say. Haven't seen much from Mario Pasalic at the moment. Have seen him pick up a few central positions, but he is starting out on that right-hand side, and he hasn't really been able to get involved at the moment yet.
Interesting choice, obviously, to have Pasalic in over players like Vlasic, players like Livaya. Hasn't really repaid his manager's faith so far, but again, just 33 minutes in here, and the Croatians now seem very comfortable in this game now. Not much threat so far on the front hand foot from them, but Brazil really much of the same. A couple of half chances, comfortable saves for Livakovic. Nothing really clear cut for either side, as Lovren's on the ball now.
Yeah, I think you just illuminated it there, Lyle. I think this will certainly suit Croatia more than Brazil, and the game is certainly deadlocked, and I think Croatia will be the happier of both sides at the moment, limiting Brazil to half chances. And obviously they do back themselves defending deep, as we've seen with Gvardiol's tackle up against Richarlison, and that's a loose pass from Modric, but Borna Sosa can collect. But I mean, yeah, Croatia back themselves defending deep, and it's going really well from here at the moment.
And we expected this from Croatia in pre-game. We spoke about their pragmatism, spoke about the fact that they're a compact unit, very tactically astute, under Zlatko Dalic, as Casemiro looks to hook it forward for Richarlison. It's good defending from Gvardiol, and then Juranovic can hook it away. But the Croatians have shown their stuff so far. A formidable test for this Brazilian team. Throwing from the left-hand side. It's all the way back now to Marquinhos. And now Thiago Silva. Paqueta once again dropping deep. As the possession stats exactly equal here. 45% for each team, and then 10% in contest.
And just to confirm, the Sports Gazette still doesn't know what in contest means, but we move on, Lyle.
Ball played in there towards Neymar. He looks to take it down. It was going to fall for Richarlison, but Dejan Lovren and Gvardiol combined to douse the issue. Paqueta looks to get the challenge in, but he's judged to have fouled Luka Modric by Michael Oliver.
Yeah, great play from Luka Modric. Just draws the foul there from Lucas Paqueta. But I mean, contrast in sides here. I mean, you look at the game in 2014 between these two sides when Brazil were leaps and bounds ahead of Croatia in terms of quality. Very, very different scenario here 8 years on.
What a difference a decade makes. What a difference 2 decades make. It's obviously 20 years since Brazil last won the World Cup, and they'll be looking to put that right today. What a team that 2002 squad was.
Incredible. 2-0 in the final against a very, very strong Germany side, and obviously Ronaldo getting on the goal. I think he got 2 that day. He got a brace, didn't he?
I think so.
The real Ronaldo.
Oof. Spicy takes here. This is what you've come for inside the Sports Gazette Live World Cup commentary as it's switched over to Borna Sosa. Now Kovacic. Rafinha looks to get the tackle in, but he's missing, and it's with Brozovic here who can drive forward, and it's good defending there from Casemiro who forces it out. It's going to be a goal kick, and Brozovic there couldn't unleash a bomb at goal.
Love that from you, Lyle. Just to reference that very flamboyant tattoo he has on his neck. But I mean, that's not in Brozovic's game. When he plays for Inter Milan, there's other players in the side like Nico Barella and Chanaloglu who do the attacking side of the game. But he just got forward there, and you could just see he panicked a little bit, tried to slide it into Borna Sosa as it just ran out of play. But good endeavour, good attacking endeavour from Croatia again.
And again, the long ball forward, and again, Josko Gvardiol is comfortable, and he's played it back to Livakovic, but I think he used his thigh, which means it wasn't a back pass as Juranovic takes a loose touch. I wasn't too sure about that rule.
No, neither was I.
But obviously, Michael Oliver comfortable with that one. Pasalic now as the Croatians look to come forward here. Chinks it back inside to Modric. Kovacic. Gvardiol. And the Brazilians once again force Croatia back into their own half. Kovacic now. Lovely drop of the shoulder, but his pass is loose, and Vinicius Jr. can launch the Brazilian counter-attack under pressure from Juranovic, and Juranovic does so well there to outpace Vinicius Jr. You don't say that often.
Juranovic has had an incredible game, Lyle. I mean, it's just been further illuminated there. Vinicius Jr. looked like he was clear down the left, and what a turn of pace from the Celtic man to just catch him and recover the ball. Incredible stuff.
Fantastic, and it wasn't exactly commentator's curse, but it was analyst's curse here from Connor Keenan, and we know all about those curses here inside Sports Gazette World Cup Live comms. Marquinhos over to Thiago Silva. Now Rafinha. Danilo on the ball. He's been given a lot of space by Croatia here. It's now with Neymar. Back to his captain, Thiago Silva. Marquinhos. Neymar. Playing in CDM at the moment. He plays a lovely ball into Rafinha, but it's good defending from Kovacic, and it falls now to Juranovic, who can look to get clear. Clips it into the path of Pasalic, and it's a poor touch from him. He's had a very poor first half.
Yeah, poor from Pasalic there. He had to be the out ball for Croatia there, and he just couldn't get it. But I mean, brilliant stuff again from Kovacic. Fizzed into Rafinha by Neymar in that pocket just outside the box, and brilliant defending again from Kovacic.
And that's what you get from Neymar and Paqueta dropping deep into midfield. They have the vision, the eye for a pass. It's a hot knife through butter when they play passes into the final third. And you can see just why Chicha has opted for both of them alongside Casemiro, and it's 10 men inside the Croatian half now for Brazil. As Thiago Silva plays it wide to Rafinha. Over to Casemiro. Now Danilo. 11 men behind the ball for Croatia. It's attack versus defense at the moment. 5 minutes plus added time away from the end of the first half. Neymar shifts past Pasalic, but he does well that time to win it back. And then Vinicius Jr. putting on the press, and then he may have been fouled there, and I think he was, by Brozovic.
Yeah, scrappy stuff there, and Vinicius just nips in ahead of Brozovic, and he just takes him out. But this is a really, really promising position here for Brazil at the moment. And I know it's still 0-0 at the moment, and there's still a long, long way to go in this game, but my Irish brethren has just informed me that Morocco versus Spain was the 7th 0-0 draw of this competition, Lyle. And if this was 10-0, the record for 0-0s at World Cup would have been broken, which is incredible, really. We were talking about it a couple of times on previous games, and I mean, it's just kind of highlighting the fact that this is a mid-season international tournament. Players are fatigued. But I mean, still a long way to go here, and hopefully we're treated to some goals.
Yeah, and could be an opportunity here for the first goal of the game with Rafinha and Neymar once again over the free kick. Very, very dangerous position. Just outside the box. Left-hand side, perfect for a right footer in Neymar. As we see the most powerful goals of the World Cup so far with Chavez's, I'm assuming it was the wonderful free kick.
Stunning.
Great stats from FIFA here. As Neymar looks to play it into the box. Neymar has a hit, and it took a deflection off of Brozovic, and it was kind to Livakovic, who once again claims
Yeah, Rivaldo and Roberto Carlos looking on, they would have hit quite a sumptuous free kick from that angle. But yeah, it's just looking to creep in. I mean, maybe it's just gone wide, but takes a deflection, and Dominik Livakovic does well to get it under control for Croatia.
They look to play out from the back with Lovren and now Modric. Under pressure from the Brazilians, but he's so calm. Plays it out to Sosa. Now Gvardiol, Brazilians once again pressing. Gvardiol just as calm as his captain. Switches it over to Juranovic. Croatia still not out yet. Now they are, with Lovren who hoops it forward looking for Pasalic, but Danilo should have the pace. But he gives it away to Kramaric. Now it's Brozovic. Back to his striker. And Croatia have the ball now high into the Brazilian half.
I mean, we talked about Mario Pasalic, but he's received the ball the most time between midfield and defensive lines, 12 times. But I think it's unfair to kind of pigeonhole him into the category of underperforming at the moment. I mean, Kramaric and Ivan Perisic have struggled to get into the game too, Lyle. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, the entire front line for Croatia haven't really had much of possession as Sosa looks to play it into Perisic. Pass just overhead, and Thiago Silva elects to keep it in. And he does very, very well to play it out to Militao. And then Paqueta, who looks to hoof it forward for Vinicius, but Croatia can retain possession. It's going to be a stop to play here from Michael Oliver for Lucas Paqueta to maybe receive some treatment.
Wonderful stuff there, though, from Thiago Silva. I mean, great ball down the line from Borna Sosa, Ivan Perisic looking to get onto it, but Thiago Silva, most defenders in the world are turning that away for a throw-in or even a corner, but he just takes a touch and just shimmies on the ball and gets it out towards Eder Militao. It's stunning from the Rolls-Royce defender of Thiago Silva. Just seems to be getting better as every day it goes by, isn't it, really? Aging like a fine wine.
Yeah, we
just
have.
Taking a look at it here again, Lyle.
Yeah, he just looks
Takes
to
the
shepherd
touch
it out.
and just shepherds it around the corner. I mean, most players turn that around, but he knows he has Militao there in support, and it's just brilliant from Thiago Silva.
As the ball comes forward for Kramaric, flag stays down at the moment, and Thiago Silva once again very good defending. And I'm looking to see if the flag does go up, and it eventually does. It would have been offside, but again, you see Thiago Silva, a master of the art of defending.
So organised back there, Thiago Silva. You can just see he steps ahead of Kramaric. Knows he's beyond him, but I mean, that looks tight. It looks like Eder Militao is playing him on there. Croatia probably should have had a corner out of that.
Yeah, they might feel hard done by there, Croatia. As Thiago Silva is the man to get us back on the way. Just about 15 seconds plus added time to play at the end of this first half. Croatia 0, Brazil 0. It's been an entertaining affair so far. A great midfield battle, but not much by the way of clear-cut chances. As a foul against Richarlison. There's quite a bit of fouls in this first half.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the way Croatia wanted to go. Break down the attacking moves from Brazil at any opportunity, and we're just going to get 1 minute added on here, Lyle. It seems that ludicrous amount of time that was added on has been seemingly abandoned as the competition's progressed.
I think the first time we saw those added on times, everyone was so shocked. 8, 9, 10, sometimes 11 minutes of added time as Gvardiol looks to drive forward, but he gives it away to Militao. Plays it into Casemiro. He gives it back to Luka Modric. Both teams a bit poor in possession as Juranovic can come forward.
Yeah, Brazil just tried to capitalise on Gvardiol pushing out with his centre-half duties there.
Juranovic in a pocket of space, closed on by Paqueta. Plays it into Pasalic, and he's going to be offside, I think. The number 15 of Croatia.
Poor from Pasalic there. I mean, we mentioned he is playing on the right-hand side, but it looks like him and Kramaric are chopping and changing every time they come forward. But yeah, so poor there from Mario Pasalic, just drifting from an offside position, and he had Ivan Perisic free as a bird out on the left-hand side as half-time drawn to a close here, Lyle.
That is half-time at Education City Stadium. It is Croatia 0, Brazil 0. It's been a decent first half from both teams, but in the end, no goals so far. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with some halftime analysis with myself, Andrew Smith, and our producer in studio, Connor Keenan. Be back after this. And we are back. It's halftime at Education City Stadium. It is Croatia 0, Brazil 0, and we're here for some halftime analysis as we look at the highlights. Andrew, what do you make of that first half?
Well, I mean, Croatia will definitely be the happier of both sides here. Brazil have struggled to break them down, but I think Croatia have been so good coming forward again. We're just looking at some highlights here from Josip Peranovic, who's been absolutely incredible in the first half, bombing down that right-hand side, and he's created a few half chances for Croatia, but I mentioned, and I keep coming back to it, that battle in midfield. We've seen in the middle of game a graphic coming up, the amount of recoveries and tackles that Croatia's midfield were putting in, and they're doing really well at the moment, Lyle, to stifle that Brazilian attack. And at the moment, Brazil seemingly have no answers, and it looks like this game is going to be deadlocked, and it looks like maybe only a goal is going to win it for either side, and we could be on for extra time and penalties with the way it's going at the moment, Lyle.
Yeah, I mean, possession stats virtually equal, 51-49 in favor of Brazil. Of course, Brazil had those 3 shots on target, but each of them was so comfortable for Livakovic, and one was that deflected free kick from Neymar. 3 shots for Croatia, none on target. Had a couple of corners, but overall, in terms of clear-cut chances, there hasn't been much. And we're going to go quickly to our producer and statistician in studio, Connor Keane. And Connor, what did you make of that first half?
It's just really a continuation of what this tournament's been, Lyle. Not a lot of action in the first half of matches. They normally sort of open up in the second half. This is the 26th game of this tournament that has been 0-0 halftime, which is a pretty crazy stat. It sort of makes sense with the timing of the tournament in the middle of the winter, as you were alluding to during the broadcast, Andrew. Just the strange timing of this, taking teams out of mid-season, maybe a bit more fatigue, maybe less time for managers to prepare, and as a result, just things are a little more cautious in the opening stages of the games. If this game was to finish 0-0, the World Cup record for 0-0 matches would be broken. Spain versus Morocco, as Andrew said again, was the 7th 0-0 of this tournament. The record stands at 7. So we could be on for a record being broken today. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully we can see some goals in the second half.
Yeah, and if we are to see goals, it's most likely going to be down the Brazilian left, the Croatian right-hand side, as we saw. As you spoke about, Juranovic, who's been fantastic bombing forward, and it's been in the absence of Danilo, who's played more as an inverted fullback, and we know Vinicius loves to go forward, so he's had a lot of time and a lot of enjoyment down that right-hand side, and Vinicius we see so often with those long diagonals from Marquinhos, from right to left, has had space, and he's been the main outlet for Brazil.
Yeah, he really has, and I think you just mentioned something interesting there about the fullbacks for Brazil. Obviously, they're playing Eder Militao, who's predominantly a centre half, and they're playing Danilo at left back, who's usually normally a right back, but he can play left back. But I mean, it is probably the two positions on the pitch where Brazil do lack a bit of quality. I mean, imagine they still had Roberto Carlos and a prime Dani Alves, they'd be completely unstoppable going forward. But I think that is where they're struggling. But I mean, Juranovic is definitely exploiting that side, and he's looked really, really good up against Vinicius. I mean, we've seen maybe on the half-hour mark, Vinicius just looked to ghost away from him, and he showed a great turn of pace to get back and catch him. But yeah, I mean, at the moment it's completely deadlocked. Connor has a very interesting start. We're just gonna
go to Connor on this
Yeah.
one.
I'm back on the goals. If we were to see a goal from Brazil to open the second half, well, it's going to probably come from the front four. The front four of Neymar, Vinicius Jr., Richarlison, and Rafinha have 34 goals in their last 12 appearances. But if you're a Croatia fan, don't panic, as where is it? In the last.
Was it the Rafinha stack you're looking for?
Oh yeah, well Rafinha, funnily enough, coming into this game, no Brazilian player had more shots than Rafinha, and yet he's waiting for his first goal of the tournament. And he hasn't really looked too threatening in that first half.
Hasn't looked that good, yeah. It's going to be so interesting going forward as Connor continues looking for that stat.
I mean, what Connor's touched on there is really interesting. I mean, he's mentioned Rafinha and the player who's had the most shots in this tournament, and he hasn't scored yet. And you've players like Rodrigo and Anthony sitting on the bench. It's just absolutely incredible. I mean, Rodrigo is a serial killer in the box for Real Madrid. He was impeccable towards the back end of their Champions League campaign when he got them crucial goals against Chelsea and Manchester City. And Anthony has hit the ground running for Manchester United. He's looked really, really good. But I mean, Rafinha somehow still gets picked by Chiche at the moment, and yeah, it's food for thought for him to maybe take him off here.
Yeah, it certainly is interesting. And of course, me and Connor Keenan, your resident Manchester United fans in studio, we both love Anthony, the fidget spinner that he is. So Connor, we've always put our producer slash statistician for our matches on the spot at halftime. I'm putting you on the spot now. I need a prediction in terms of winner and final score. What do you think it's going to be?
It's a tough one. Croatia have only conceded 2 goals in this tournament, so it's the threat from Brazil against the defensive solidity of Croatia. I can see this being another 0-0 now, Lyle, if I'm honest. I hope I'm wrong, but this Croatia team are used to this, and they've conceded the first goal in 6 of their last 8 World Cup knockout matches, and they've only lost 2 of them. And one was the 2018 final against France. So I mean, they've looked. I think the coach of Croatia will be delighted with what he's seen in the first half. I think the longer this goes 0-0, the happier they'll be. The more they'll grow into the game. And yeah, there hasn't been too many chances created, but Brazil haven't created anything either. So I think so far so good for Croatia, but I can see it being nervy. I can see a 0-0 here.
All right, so Connor is going 0-0 with the final score. And just before we take another quick break, we're just going to take a quick look at the second game that we're going to have today, Andrew. It's going to be Argentina versus the Netherlands, as we spoke about briefly in the coverage. It's going to be, as I built it up, as Gakpo versus Messi, but it's not going to be that simple. What do you think it's going to look like when you take a look at that game at 7 p.m. tonight?
Well, I mean, both teams have looked very unconvincing so far in this tournament, Lyle. I think maybe Netherlands gave a better account of themselves in that USA game. They obviously went 1-0 ahead, and then they scored that second on the stroke of half time, and they just defended so deep. It's a very interesting tactic that Louis van Gaal has deployed at this tournament, and I mean, it's working to fruition. I've read a couple of things from journalists saying that it is preparation for when they play against the bigger teams, that when they do go ahead, they do have a very, very solid defensive system that they can rely on. So I mean, it's going to be very interesting, and obviously you look at Argentina, who had that shock defeat to Saudi Arabia, but did partially recover the draw against Mexico, and then they got that vital win against their final game was against
Poland.
Beg your pardon. Sorry. Beg your pardon, gentlemen. But yeah, and then they got that win over Australia, that 2-1, which was in the end nervy. I mean, it looked pretty routine, but in the end it was pretty nervy stuff from Argentina, and I think more so than Netherlands, they've looked very, very unconvincing, and it seems like the narrative of Lionel Messi's last World Cup and can he finally get that World Cup, it's just kind of completely consumed the squad, and I think they're forgetting that they're a team of 11 and not one. But I mean, it's an interesting game. It's going to be tough to call, but I think similar to this game and a few games coming up in these quarterfinals, I think it's going to be really tight and a very, very little amount of goals.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is winning that game? Netherlands, Argentina. Quick fire.
I'm going to go Argentina.
Argentina winning, and I'm going to also not go with Argentina. I think Netherlands are going to win. I think it's going to be the Cody Gakpo show once again. I really love that kid. I think he's a fantastic player.
I wonder why he loves that kid.
I wonder why. Hoping for
Man United bound maybe.
Things in January, we'll see. But of course, it wouldn't be coverage of the World Cup in England without us talking about the Brits as reluctantly as Andrew rolls his eyes in studio. I think it's going to be the game of the tournament, England versus France tomorrow. It's shaping up to be something fantastic. The player of the tournament so far, as many people have him, Mbappe, maybe a lot of people say the best player in the world, against this English team who've been billed as the team that's gonna, bring it home finally. But with that game, I kind of think it's gonna be a bit of a drubbing, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a drubbing, but I think what Gareth Southgate has done for England, he's completely rejuvenated the ideology of England getting into the latter stages of tournaments. They really believe now that they can go on and get to semi-finals and finals, but I mean, France have looked absolutely exceptional, and I think they will have too much for England. Hopefully they'll have too much for England. Hopefully it's abnormally large scoreline. But I mean, England they've looked very good. They've looked very impressive throughout the tournament. And I think this narrative being painted, if I'm going to be non-biased, but I think the narrative against France being clear favourites and that they should walk over England is ludicrous. I think England have looked good, so I think it'll be another tight game. But I mean, you just mentioned Kylian Mbappe. Jackson Fuller said he was the best player in the world. I didn't believe him, but now he just looks on a different level to most players at this tournament, and I think he will be the difference tomorrow for France.
Well, if that ideology is ludicrous, call me Luda, because I think it's gonna be, 3-0 France, and you can book it, guaranteed, as Charles Barkley would say. So it's definitely not gonna happen as the players look to come out for the second half. I think it's looking like no changes for either side, but you're gonna be hearing us in just about a minute or two's time. We're going to take another quick break, but the next time you hear us will be for the start of the second half. Second half, looking to get underway. Michael Oliver with the whistle to his mouth. Richarlison over it. And we are ready now for second half kickoff. I see 2 players over the kickoff. Haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, we have not seen that in a while. Obviously, one man only over the spot now. But, yeah, no changes at halftime either, Lyle. Both teams pretty content with how the first half has gone, it seems, from a personnel point of view.
Early foul from Luka Modric on his former Real Madrid teammate Casemiro, as Rafinha with a lovely flick, and it's back to Paqueta into the feet of Rafinha, looking to drive forward, but he's crowded out by the Croats, who can build with Pasalic. It's a hoofing challenge from Danilo, and Vinicius Jr. thought he would get there, but he didn't in the end.
Yeah, we just seen Rafinha just galloping forward there, trying to get a chance, but I don't want to deviate away from the action here, Lyle, but I just want to get your opinion on that conversation we had with Rafinha and the most shots in the tournament, no goals, and the options on the bench. Why do you think he's still on the pitch?
Honestly, Andrew, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's incredible, really, that he's still there with Rodrigo and Anthony on the bench.
Yeah, I personally am a huge fan of Anthony, and I'm a fan of Rodrigo as well. I think if it was me, I would have had Rodrigo on at halftime for Rafinha, because I just think Rodrigo is a fantastic young footballer, as we see a foul there on Marquinhos.
Yeah, great stuff there from Marquinhos. Bit of dark arts there, just drawing the foul from Mario Pasalic. Not really in full agreement with them sort of fouls, but I mean, it's in the game and it's beautifully abused there by Marquinhos.
And you always see teams that know how to use those dark arts just going a bit further in competitions. As Casemiro looks to play it for, he's going to fall for Paqueta, who looks to get into Rafinha, and he keeps it in. And now we can finally go one-on-one. Looks to play in Eder Militao, who pulls it across. Oh, and it was nearly put into his own net by Josko Gvardiol, and Livakovic had to be alert. Almost disastrous for the Croatians. But they escape by the skin of their teeth.
Biggest opening of the game there for Brazil, Lyle. Biggest opening for both teams. I mean, Eder Militao, who we questioned his attacking prowess, he bombs down the right-hand side. And Brazil are coming forward here again, Lyle.
Vinicius plays it into Neymar on the turn, and he just couldn't get enough on the shot. It's still in. It's Vinicius, and it's a good save from Livakovic. And all of a sudden, 2 minutes into the first half, the flag does go up eventually for offside, but Brazil have come out like a rocket.
Yeah, catalogue of chances here, Lyle. I mean, first of all, Eder Militao gets down the right-hand side, pulls it across, and I think it comes off Gvardiol. It's just deflection. Livakovic somehow gets a touch, and we're just looking at this second chance coming in. Juranovic can't clear. 1v1 with Vinicius. He just plays it into Neymar. Scuffs his shot. Great block from Gvardiol, it must be said. And then the ball falls to Vinicius. Maybe that was where the offside came in. I'm not too sure. What a block that is again from the young Leipzig man. Incredible stuff. But it looks like there could be a handball here, maybe.
Against Juranovic, and Michael Oliver has just called a pause to this game, and there is a VAR check.
Gonna be a VAR check
in progress for a possible penalty. But that first chance was something very, very big for Brazil. But
incredible, Lyle. And I mean, we touched on the defensive kind of emphasis on Eder Militao, and he absolutely bombed forward down the right-hand side as Michael Oliver maybe is just indicating that the check is over. Yeah, no penalty given.
Yeah, I think they are going to go with the offside in the end, but what a start to the second half that was for Brazil. And Croatia have escaped, and they would have been so deflated to concede so early in the second half, and Zlatko Dalic would have been absolutely fuming with his men if that own goal had come off of Josko Gvardiol, as Lovren switches it over to that man again.
Massive again from Guardiol. I mean, Neymar scuffs the shot. He twists on it. He doesn't get the right purchase on it, but still, Guardiol's there. He makes another deep lying block. We mentioned it in the first half. The Croats seem to love defending deep in their own box, and it's a huge block again as Juranovic comes forward here, Lyle.
Juranovic into Luka Modric. Kovacic looking to bring some support in the middle. Modric finds him. Kovacic back to Luka Modric. He's got men in the box, and he plays it to Juranovic. Juranovic looks to whip it in, and it's a good block there from Danilo to send it out for a Croatia corner.
Yeah, everything for Croatian in the attacking sense is coming down that right-hand side. Lovely little turn around the corner from Kovacic to get Juranovic in behind, but good defending there from Eder Militao. We've seen what he could do at one end, and he's doing his usual business down the other. Good start to the second half, Lyle.
Very entertaining, and it's already, if I may say, it's already better than the first half, I think.
Oh, yes.
Corner for Modric to come in. Modric whips it in. It's a header. It may fall to Kramaric. Plays it across, and Thiago Silva had to get a block on. And he hooks it clear, but the flag is eventually raised for offside.
Yeah, I think it was just offside given there against Andrej Kramaric. But, yeah, good crossing by Luka Modric, and I think it was Ivan Perisic getting up. He has an exceptional leap on him, does Ivan Perisic. You've seen that header he scored against Japan. He's a real aerial threat, Lyle.
Yeah,
he just got it wrong that time.
Ball back with Alisson. So rarely teams look to press him because he's so composed on the ball. One of the best distributors we have in the game at goalkeeper today. As Militao's put under pressure by Ivan Perisic. It's going to be a Brazil throw.
Yeah, you mentioned Alisson there. With how good he is with his feet. I mean, I don't wholeheartedly agree, but it is nice that Tite does have the choice between him and Ederson, but obviously he's picked Alisson because he's a huge goalkeeper when it comes to them 1v1 moments, and obviously Ederson is more renowned for his distribution and his feet rather than his hands. But I mean, yeah, it's spoiled for choice, Tite, really, in
every position.
In every position, really, except fullbacks, yeah.
As the ball comes forward now, almost fell to Kramaric, but it's now Neymar who's going to come away with it. Looking to drive forward. He's got Vinicius to his left. If Neymar going through the middle, and he plays it out to Rafinha. Neymar just stays down here. Maybe a foul, but the referee says nothing doing. Rafinha now. Look to play it into the path of Paqueta, and once again, Rafinha gives the ball away. Lovely touch from Kramaric, but he can't keep it in, and Casemiro can force him into giving a throw-in away.
So poor there from Rafinha. Like, he just slows down the play for whatever reason and then tries an audacious outside of the foot pass through an eye of a needle. And I mean, it's routine stuff for Croatia at the moment. They'll feel pretty confident defending up against him at the moment. He looks completely void of confidence out there.
Vinicius Jr. from the right-hand side. Tried to play it into the feet of Richarlison once again, but again, it's so many bodies of red and white back. And the Brazilians now just struggling to play it through those midfield lines as they're forced back, but now they're just camping inside the Croatian half with Militao. Now Thiago Silva. Over to Danilo. Danilo into the feet of Neymar. Looking to play it into Vinicius, but Juranovic has it, and now he can look to drive forward here. Back to Modric, and then Juranovic once again. 3-on-3 here. The Croatians can play it right, but it's a poor pass. Kramaric still on it, looking to play it over to Ivan Perisic, who has time to take a touch. Perisic cuts inside, plays it back over, and it was just out of reach for Mario Pasalic, and the Croatians showing that on the counter, they can be dangerous.
And here comes that suspected change. It looks like Anthony's going to come on here for possibly Rafinha, but yeah, once again, Croatia down that right-hand side, Juranovic bombing forward, comes out to Kramaric outside of the foot pass, out to Perisic, and he just tries to float it back into the run of Juranovic into the box. But yeah, good chance again from Croatia.
It was a lovely idea that from Ivan Perisic, but his cross just a bit overbaked, and it meant that it was out of reach. And Brazil can once again build. It's Marquinhos now.
Perisic is definitely going to be the main man for Croatia. Conor Keenan's just informed me he has 6 goals and 4 assists in his last 13 World Cup appearances. I mean, it's an absolutely exceptional return, isn't it, Lyle?
Fantastic return. 10 goal contributions in 13 games is something very special. As Rafinha plays it across to Danilo, who has the freedom of Qatar in front of him. Neymar. Just looking to shift past 2 men, and it's going to fall to Danilo. Tried to play into the feet of Neymar, but it's going to fall to Richarlison, who spins Gvardiol so well. Plays it into the feet of Neymar, and it's a good save from Livakovic. It's going to come back out to Vinicius. Does well to evade the intentions of Pasalic, and he can come back forward here, the Real Madrid man. Vinicius plays it in. It's a good header away. Falls to Militao, and Brazil have been repelled once again by the Croatians, but Neymar there just ghosting in behind, and his finish was saved well by Livakovic, and a man is down here for Croatia. It is Juranovic, who I think just took that shot right in the top of the head as we see that Neymar chance again.
Yeah, I mean, Danilo with a little punch, and it's not particularly neat stuff. It falls pretty kindly to Richarlison. Good turn, good strength, and a good ball in for Neymar, but great save from Livakovic. Just closes the angle, and it was always going to be tough from Neymar, but in truth, he really didn't get enough purchase on it. Did he, Lyle?
Nah, the first touch that he took almost let the ball evade him. He had to stretch for the shot. As we see the substitution being made, it is Anthony coming on, and it is Rafinha who has come off. Poor showing from the Barcelona man.
Yeah, poor showing indeed from Rafinha. Obviously, with Connor highlighting that stat of the most shots and no goals, I mean, it was only formality that Anthony or Rodrigo was going to come on, and 10 minutes into the second half, he's been hooked.
55 minutes played, still Croatia 0, Brazil 0. As Anthony's on the ball for the first time here, plays a lovely ball into the path of Richarlison. It may have just been over Baker. Richarlison looks to get it in, and Lovren had to be sure. And it comes to Kovacic, who tries to take it down and then does well to win a throw off Eder Militao. But immediately there, Anthony, bright, forward-thinking, played in Richarlison, but the pass was just overhit, I think.
Yeah, Anthony involved straight away, picking up a loose ball and slide rule ball in for Richarlison. A little bit too much power on it, but the cut back there was a ball on for Luca Paqueta in the middle. But yeah, good stuff here from Brazil. They're really going for it here in these opening stages of the second half.
Absolutely lovely play from Mateo Kovacic again to evade the press of 3 Brazilians there. What a player he is.
Stunning stuff.
Pasalic. Modric. Dejan Lovren over to Gvardiol. And we highlighted again before the game that Croatian midfield, and Modric and Kovacic have been so vital, receiving the ball countless times under pressure and looking assured almost every time.
Yeah, we spoke about Brozovic as well and how he was a little bit underwhelming in Croatia's previous games, but he's been exceptional today. He's broke up the play nicely. In an attacking sense, he's not been great, but that's not his game. I mean, distribution, he's controlled the game, and defensively, he's been absolutely everywhere. Really good outing at the moment from this Croatia midfield.
And possession still completely even between both sides. We've seen a fairly even contest. Brazil in the second half have just seen the better of the chances so far. Where Croatia now looks to come forward with Kovacic. Luka Modric shifts it wide to Juranovic. Now Andrej Kramaric. He's got support from Juranovic again. Lovren. Now Luka Modric. Looking to play make from deep. Brozovic. On it again here. Marcel Brozovic plays it into the path of Juranovic, who can pull it back to Kramaric. Decent bit of play here from Croatia. Could be a call for handball, but falls to Kramaric, who gives it away. And now the Brazilians can break. And Richarlison on the ball. He's got Neymar and Vinicius to his left. Tried to play in Vinicius, but it was a poor pass. And the Croatians are back on it now with Brozovic.
Yeah, poor there from Richarlison. He had numbers harrowing forward there, either side of him, and he just got the pass completely wrong. Hit it straight at Dejan Lovren. Good fray there for Croatia. They were just camped outside Brazil half, and again, we just talked about Marcelo Brozovic and his attacking prowess as Brazil come forward again here, Lyle, through Anthony.
Anthony plays it into Richarlison, tried to take it on the turn against Gvardiol, but his touch was loose. It's going to be a Croatian goal kick. And Livakovic has been so assured today. As you take a look, I think this was the first chance where Militao played it in. Yeah, what a save that is.
Yeah, we didn't get a look at it, but I mean, Gvardiol, who's been immense, he just gets a touch of it, and as a centre half, you're really, really worried in that situation. The ball can end up anywhere, but he just kills the speed of the ball, and Livakovic can make a pretty routine save, but he still had to be
very alert
on his line.
It's Pasalic. Brozovic back to Modric. Modric. No one pressing, man. Modric can play a lovely outside of the foot idea. Looking for Kramaric, but the Brazilians are back on it now. Casemiro. Lucas Paqueta. Over to Danilo. Now Neymar from that left-hand channel. Neymar doesn't have much for support here. Shifts past Brozovic easily and looks to play into the path of Vinicius Jr., but it was a good interception there from Juranovic, and the Croatians look to play out again with Marcelo Brozovic.
So good at that, Neymar. Every single time it seems to work, and I mean, he's done that 2 or 3 times now on Marcelo Brozovic, just a little drop of the shoulder, and it just seems completely endless for him.
Yeah, he just, when you see him play, it's almost effortless the way he moves with the ball. He just slows down, lulls his player to sleep, and it's a burst of pace. It's a lovely technique. It's close control. That's why he's one of the best players in the world, and he has been for virtually his entire career. Kovacic. Game just slowed down here for a moment. Not much press, but it's playing to the path of Pasalic, who's got Sosa. Brazilians do well to repel Croatia once again. As Kovacic looks for a switch, and it's a lovely switch into the path of Juranovic. Excuse me, it's Kramaric from the right-hand side. Now Luka Modric. Modric with 2 men on him. Paqueta does well there to win it back. A referee says no foul. It's Neymar now. Plays it back to Lucas Paqueta. Under pressure from Juranovic. May have been a foul there. Paqueta still under pressure and does so well there. Very good composure, but he loses the ball in the end. And the Croatians have it, and they have numbers here if they play this well. It's Ivan Perisic. It's a good challenge from Casemiro.
Yeah, Michael Oliver letting a few challenges go there, and you kind of love to see it in the game. It's first for Luka Modric, and then it was Lucas Paqueta, but just keeps the game ticking over here. Good refereeing there from Michael Oliver, in my opinion.
Very experienced official is Michael Oliver. As it's Luka Modric once again picking up the ball in a deep lying position. Plays it into Brozovic. And now Kovacic. Kovacic looking to drive into the midfield. Plays it out to Ivan Perisic. Can he get a ball? And it's a poor ball. It's easy for Alisson to claim.
Yeah, routine stuff there for Becker. I mean, Perisic is picking up some good positions on that left-hand side, but just over an hour gone here, and we're just midway through the second half, and I think Brazil have created more chances than they have in this second half alone than they did in the first, as we just see Rodrigo warming up here for Brazil Island. I mean, we mentioned him and Anthony at halftime, and looks like Tite's listened to our call.
Yeah, Tite's been tuning into the Sports Gazette Live World Cup commentary, as you have been here. Ensure once again that you follow the Sports Gazette on all social media, at Sports Gazette, on TikTok, on Twitter, Sports Gazette UK on Instagram. Of course, drop your comments in the live chat, which should now be operational. Sorry about those technical difficulties in the first half. But drop a comment, leave a like, and of course subscribe, as it's Neymar on the ball, as he has been so often in this game so far. Marquinhos. Now it's Thiago Silva. Over to Paqueta, and now Anthony. Put under pressure by Sosa, but he does well to keep possession. It's a lovely ball from Paqueta, looking for Militao, who looks to keep it in. It's easy for Dejan Lovren to hook it clear. It's going to be a throw into Brazil.
Yeah, good play down the right there from Brazil as we just look at passes completed. Croatia 351, Brazil 329, which is interesting, but given the balance in positional stats, and this is very interesting, like Vinicius Jr. coming off for Rodrigo. I mean, he hasn't been poor. He struggled to get into the game, but I mean, that's a strange decision indeed, Lyle.
Yeah, I mean, he was at times Brazil's best outlet in that first half. Maybe he's just tailed off to start this second half, but with a player like Rodrigo, we saw him in that game against Switzerland playing in the Neymar role in midfield. But maybe it's just that Tite wants to keep Paqueta on the field as maybe a player that can turn the lock, twist the screw, and unlock a defense alongside Neymar. So maybe in that case, he just opted for Vinicius Jr. as against Paqueta to come off because you know Neymar isn't coming off in any scenario.
Yeah, exactly, Lyle. I mean, not to discredit Rodrigo, Tite has a conveyor belt of talent on the bench, but I mean, it's a decent replacement, but Vinicius is certainly not going to feel too confident about that. But here comes Neymar, who just draws the foul from Marcelo Brozovic, Lyle.
Again, Brozovic is on a yellow card, has to be careful here. But Neymar, one of the best players in the world at drawing contact, just goads the challenge and then glides past his man. It's a clear foul from Brozovic. Knew what he was doing. A couple more of those and he could be in trouble with Michael Oliver. It's going to be a free kick round about 30 yards out, maybe 35. It's Casemiro, Rodrigo, and Neymar over the ball.
Yeah, promising the position again here for Brazil. Some good height in the box, and Casemiro's lining this one up and just hits the wall there. Caught us all by surprise, Lyle.
Yeah, everyone in studio let out a bit of a chuckle there as Neymar and Rodrigo both left the ball to Casemiro, who lined it up. And we know Casemiro has some thunderbolts in his locker, but maybe not from that situation as Rodrigo now on the ball, cutting in, look to play into the path of Paqueta. It could fall to him, and it does fall for Lucas Paqueta, and it's a good save from Livakovic. I don't think he knew much about it. Paqueta maybe just put it into his chest, but the ball just fell to him, and he had a chance.
Oh, huge chance for Brazil. Rodrigo coming in on that left-hand side, just fizzes it into Paqueta, and he gets really lucky with the touches, but I mean, credit to Livakovic. All he can do there as a goalkeeper is make himself big, and huge chance come back in Brazil here.
Corner comes in, and it's all the way in, and Kovacic had to be sure. And Brazil now putting the pressure on Croatia as Danilo heads it back into a dangerous area. Militao heads it on. It's Casemiro back to Eder Militao, who looks to have a hit. It's a good block from Gvardiol. And now Croatia can maybe get clear. But Brozovic gives it right back to the Brazilians. And another period of Brazil pressure where Livakovic has to make a stop. As Rodrigo's on the ball now, plays it to Neymar. That chance for Lucas Paqueta, it was just a mix-up between Lovren and Gvardiol. Neither of them really had the wherewithal to get it out as Anthony. Oh, he dances with Borna Sosa. Doesn't really do much to get past him, but you know we love that Joga Bonito here inside the Sports Gazette studios as it's over to Rodrigo. Looks to shift past Juranovic. Right back does well. And it's forced back to Danilo. Now Marquinhos. Rodrigo can shift it across to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva looking for the diagonal. Juranovic has to be sure. And he gets it out to Pasalic. But Rodrigo does really well to put the press on. But Pasalic still has it. It's a good run from him. And he plays it into the path of Kramaric. Takes a lovely touch on it. And the two combine to get Croatia out of pressure very, very well there. They've done that fantastically there, Croatia. There's going to be a foul against Richarlison. Very good work there from the two attackers.
Yeah, much, much better there from Mario Pasalic. And was that just a yellow card we seen dished out there, Lyle, maybe for Casemiro, was it?
I think it was Casemiro with the foul.
Yeah, that's a little bit harsh. I mean, that's soft. Come on, Kramaric, that's a bit ridiculous. But, I mean, yeah, better stuff from Mario Pasalic. And we mentioned in the first half he was struggling for an out ball, and he done really well there to get the ball up to Kramaric, and Croatia done well overall to stifle Brazil's kind of maintainment of that attack. But I mean, that's a bizarre yellow card from Michael Oliver there. We've been giving him praise in the second half here, but I take it back.
Croatia now taking the free kick and back on possession with Juranovic. Gvardiol. Looking for the through ball towards Perisic, who rises well as usual, but his header can only find Alisson, as we're going to see some Croatian changes. It's Petkovic and Levaya, I think, the two that we're looking to warm up and get stripped to come on.
Yeah, Zlatko Dalic just opting here. I think it was maybe Bruno Petkovic and Vlasic, but changes in the offing here for Croatia, just fresh legs rather than anything, as Brazil look to come forward again, but good defending again from Croatia, Lyle.
Yeah, Kovacic does so well, and then again from Kovacic to play it back to Sosa. And Croatia here, who's just started to boss possession as we grow towards 70 minutes played. Still 0-0, and Croatia on the ball here with Modric. Casemiro putting the press on, and it's going to be a Croatian throw.
I'd imagine, Lyle, with these substitutes, it's probably going to be Mario Pasalic and maybe Kramaric. We're not too sure at the moment here. We're just going to wait for the ball to go out before them changes come through. But just having a look at forced turnovers, and I mean, there you go again. Mateo Kovacic 14, Perisic in there with 10, and Brozovic with 9. And I mean, the onus has been on Croatia defensively, and they've been absolutely exceptional up to this point.
Yeah, with the exception of the chances at the start of this second half, it's been very, very good defensive stuff for Croatia. And Modric was subbed in the previous game that we covered. Maybe a chance could he be subbed again, Andrew?
Maybe. I mean, 37 years of age. He's not the same workhorse as he used to be, but it could be interesting. But I think Modric will probably stay on. Maybe if the game delves into extra time, then Zlatko Dalic will opt to take him out. But yeah, Croatia back on the ball here, Lyle.
Brozovic. Croatia now just knocking the ball about in their own half between Modric and Brozovic, and they do well to evade the press of Richarlison and Neymar. This ball's with Dejan Lovren. Over to Juranovic. Gets away from the challenge of Rodrigo. And the Brazilians are just starting now to ease back a bit with their press, allowing Croatia to have the ball within their own half. And Modric now with green grass in front of him. Lovely outside of the boot pass to Juranovic. Plays it into Kramaric. Cuts in on his left foot, and he looks for the shot. Maybe a poor decision, and then he gives the foul away against Rodrigo. Poor stuff there from Andrej Kramaric. Now the substitutions to be made.
Modric was piling in there on the edge of the box, and he could have just gave it to him there. But yeah, we're just going to see the substitutes. It's going to be the big man, Bruno Petkovic, coming on, and former West Ham man, Nikola Vlasic. And as we suggested, it's going to be Kramaric coming off first of all, but Petkovic does give Croatia a bit more of an out ball. Really, really good at holding up the play. I mean, he did struggle in the last game we covered against Japan, and yes, as we predicted, it's going to be Mario Pasalic too, who has been largely ineffective. Couple of half-decent moments here and there, but I mean, in terms of an attacking threat, he's been relatively stifled by that Brazilian back four, and like Kramaric too, who has a couple of goals at the World Cup, and he's really, really been ineffective. So, yeah, smart changes here from Zlatko Dalic, Lyle.
And as much as we've praised Croatia's play in midfield with Kovacic and Modric and Brozovic, and as much as we've praised how well they've defended, Brazil have been under no pressure here.
No, they really haven't, Lyle. And I mean, that's just testament to their back four. They've been absolutely incredible throughout the tournament. I think they've only conceded 2 goals. And, I mean, up until the round of 16, they hadn't conceded a shot in the tournament. So it's an incredible feat for Brazil. And I think, we can discredit players like Pasalic and Kramaric as long as we want, but we have to give huge credit to Brazil's defence. They've been on top.
On the ball now, it's Thiago Silva. Looking for options, but Croatians once again 11 men behind the ball. As Eder Militao. Now Neymar dropping deep once again. Plays it to Rodrigo. Militao. Anthony's got space here from the right-hand side. Anthony cuts inside, and it's a foot put in, but the referee says nothing doing, and it's Ivan Perisic, who maybe just put a foot in, but no foul as Anthony wins it back, makes amends for his mistake, and Casemiro's on the ball now over to Neymar. It's Neymar just looking to drive past Juranovic, but again, Juranovic doing so well defensively, and maybe if it it wasn't a foul, surely it was a yellow card for simulation for Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, that dive from Anthony there was straight out of the Manchester books. I'll have to get a look at the replay just to confirm it. But, I mean, yeah, Michael Oliver obviously wasn't buying it, but Anthony done extremely well to win the ball back after going down, and Brazil are back on it here again.
Neymar looking to play into the box, but it's easy for Dominik Livakovic. One of the easiest saves he'll make tonight. As you take a look at it here, and it was a blatant dive from Anthony. Perisic didn't even put a foot in. And the resident Liverpool fan on co-coms is absolutely disgusted with that one.
Our executive producer waving his finger in protests. But I mean, yeah, it's part and parcel of the game. It's whether if the referee is going to buy it. But yeah, great decision from Michael Oliver. He didn't buy it. But you mentioned it, Lyle. Possible yellow card maybe in the offing there for Anthony if he is trying to cheat the system a little bit.
Maybe, just maybe. It's Petkovic dropping into his own half to receive the ball here. Switches it over to Mateo Kovacic. Lovely take on the chest. Now Modric. Kovacic. It's a loose touch from him. So unlike Mateo Kovacic. Just maybe a lapse in concentration.
Yeah, Kovacic, poor from him there. Case of the commentator's curse there from Connor Keane and our executive producer. He was just on there at Kovacic and how well he was, and then he gives the ball away. Is really needless foul there from Ivan Perisic on Militao, Lyle.
And once again, as you know, we do love a bit of commentator's curse at the Sports Gazette Live World Cup commentary. And we spoke about it last game. If you're down, and if you're of age, of course, you can do our commentator's curse drinking game every time you mention it. Let's take a bit of a shot at home. Have some fun with us in studio. As Livakovic has the ball and he boots it forward.
Well, I mean, during our group stage games, Lyle, we would have had a few drunk viewers, commentators curse right, left and centre.
All over the park. Vardial put under pressure by Richarlison. It's now Dominik Livakovic. Hoosts it forward. Looking for Vlasic, but it's well repelled by Danilo. And now Rodrigo looking to put the press on. He does well to win the ball back there, Rodrigo. Shifts away from Modric. And away from Vlasic. And it's played through into the path of Neymar. Oh, it's a good save from Livakovic. And again, it's Neymar going into that left-hand channel, getting in behind and forcing a save from the keeper.
Yeah, really, really good play from Livakovic again. Similar to his earlier chance. Slide through ball into Neymar. And he just can't get it off. And I mean, if he had scored that, he would have matched Pele's record of 77 goals for Brazil. And he's still waiting at the moment as the ball comes in here, Lyle.
Ball in from Neymar. It's a bit of a mix-up at the front post, but Croatia come away with it. And it's Modric under pressure from Marquinhos. That's a cynical foul from Marquinhos. And I think, yeah, he's going to be yellow carded here by Michael Oliver. And he knew what he was doing there, Marquinhos.
Yeah, routine stuff there from Michael Oliver, but I mean, 37 years of age, and look at that turn of pace from Luka Modric, and that's incredible from Marquinhos.
Bit
Maybe
of a
some of our rugby fans, but yeah, just looking at his chance again. Again, it's Richarlison linking up with Neymar. Lovely little ball around the corner, but look at this save again from Livakovic. He gets out really smart, and it's just his left trailing knee that diverts the ball away. Incredible save again.
Very good stuff, and it's going to be a foul against Vlasic on Danilo. But yeah, our resident rugby fans and rugby journalists at the Sports Gazette would have loved that tackle from Marquinhos. Shout out to our fans in studio. Of course, you know, tune into the Sports Gazette. We have some fantastic rugby content on our pages, on our Twitter. Shout out to our rugby journalists, Imogen, James, Reuven. Fantastic coverage. Overall, the Sports Gazette, if I do say so myself, we've got some fantastic journalists.
Best coverage in the country, in my opinion.
Absolutely. 6 attempts on target now for Brazil. Still no goals. 77 minutes played. It's still 0-0. And our producer, Connor Keenan's prediction of 0-0 at the end of the game is coming closer to fruition as Neymar looks to come forward. He plays into the path of Richarlison. Back to Neymar. Look to get it back to Richarlison. And he maybe could have taken it on himself there, Neymar. As the Croatians look to get on. It's fantastic work, but eventually it's a foul against Lucas Paqueta on Ivan Perisic. The Brazilians just a bit over-eager there to win it back.
Yeah, 100%, Lyle. I mean, they come forward again. Fluid move through the middle of the park, but Marcelo Brozovic does exceptionally well. He's just leaning to try get that challenge from Richarlison's pass that was looking to get into Neymar, and he just gets a touch on it and gets it away. I mean, if that goes through, then Neymar and I think it's Rodrigo or 2v1 with Lovren, but yeah, some dogged defending again from Croatia. Brilliant stuff.
Petkovic, lovely touch to get away from Marquinhos' intentions. Plays it to Brozovic. Now Mateo Kovacic again. Looks to play the ball through to Perisic, but the Brazilians have it again with Casemiro and now Neymar. And they've evaded the Croatian press, and now Brazil can come forward. Ball goes out now for Brazilian throw, and just for our viewers live, get your comments in, get your predictions in. How do you think this game is going to finish? It's still 0-0 at the moment. Just about close to 10 minutes plus added time to play before we hit the 90. As Casemiro plays into the path of Richarlison, tries to get it back to him, but once again it's Luka Modric winning the ball back and looking to drive into the heart of the Brazilian defense. He plays it to Petkovic. Looks for the support, but he eventually turns into trouble, and Richarlison does so well to win the ball back there.
So poor again from Bruno Petkovic. I mean, we mentioned him in previous Croatian games. He was just so poor, but I mean, he has to get the pass off quicker there. But it's really good defending in the end from Rodrigo to get back and pip him.
Militao. Over to Anthony. Against Sosa. Looks to beat him for pace. Anthony just slowing down. It's a lovely bit of skill there from Anthony. He plays into the path of Casemiro. Ball comes in. It's going to come all the way to Rodrigo. Rodrigo from the right-hand side. Pulls it back to Paqueta, and it's a good save. Took him 2 tries, but Livakovic again was well behind it. That's good play from Brazil, and especially from Anthony down that right-hand side.
Yeah, Brazil really starting to crank up the pressure here as we approach the last 10 minutes. Lovely little bit of skill there from Anthony just to get the nutmegs on Borna Sosa. Ball into the box from Casemiro. Rodrigo pulls it back to Paqueta, and pretty routine stuff for Livakovic again.
No dancing as of yet for Brazil. Roy Keane is absolutely ecstatic. Switch over to Borna Sosa. Croatia looking to play out well. And that they do. Up to Petkovic, but Marquinhos marshals him so well and wins the ball back for Brazil. And again, those 2 centre-backs of Brazil, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, 2 of the best in the world. And that partnership has been so astute for Brazil throughout this tournament. As we said, they went 2 whole games without conceding a shot on target in the group stages. Only conceded 2 goals all tournament, and that defense is something spectacular.
Yeah, we've 2 top defensive units here at the moment. And I mean, if Croatia don't score in this game, it will be their 3rd game in a row without a goal, all 0-0 draws. As our executive producer provides that stat for us. And I mean, yeah, it's become a narrative for the game here at the moment. I mean, top defenses, and Brazil really starting to turn on here in the last couple of minutes, though. Lyle-Anthony just pushes the ball straight into Livakovic.
Yeah, he tried to play through Lucas Paqueta, but Vardiol did well to marshal him that time. 81 minutes played, still 0-0. As we've said so many times this World Cup, no goals as of yet. But we know it's knockout football. If at the end it is 0-0, we will have the ever-dreaded penalty shootout. As Casemiro looks to come forward here. He's got Rodrigo out to his left-hand side. He uses the Real Madrid man. It's Rodrigo now. Back to Casemiro. Plays into the box looking for Richarlison, but he couldn't direct his header on target, and it's harmlessly over the bar.
Yeah, Casemiro just putting in a pretty tame cross, and Richarlison tries to get across Vardiol, but Vardiol does so well just to put Richarlison under pressure, and it's a pretty wayward header in the end. But yeah, we're just approaching maybe 8 minutes of normal time, and Croatia maybe just slightly hanging on here at the moment just to get to extra time and recuperate.
And we know how much Brazil have a talent for scoring goals. So for them, it will be disappointing that they haven't scored so far. But Rodrigo there came forward, and no foul for Michael Oliver.
Strange that, Lyle.
As Vlasic can come down the other end, and he did very, very well to evade some challenges. And then he is fouled, and the Brazilian fans are absolutely livid with that one.
Yeah, stunning stuff there from the former Hammers man as he essentially hammers down that right-hand side. And yeah, maybe that should be a yellow card there as Danilo just cynically brings him down. And we're just going to see a substitute here for Brazil as well. It looks like Pedro is going to be coming on and making his first appearances of the tournament. Be interesting to see who comes off for him. His second appearance, I beg your pardon. It's going to be Richarlison that comes off.
Richarlison, 9 goals in 10 in 2022. No goal today for him. That's a goal every 54 minutes. But again, just hasn't had that impact today. It's going to be Pedro coming on. Can he be the hero for Brazil? As Croatia are on the ball now. Vlasic. Now it's Luka Modric. Tried to play it into Vlasic, but took a deflection and it's out for a throw-in.
Yeah, interesting change there for Chiche to bring on Pedro, who buys his trade in the Brazilian league for Flamengo, and he's played 93 games and scored 31 goals in that league, and he looks like a bit of a target man. I mean, he's very, very tall stature, Lyle, and I mean, maybe it's because of the crosses that Brazil are being forced to throw into the box, so yeah, he looks like a serious outlet in terms of his aerial presence.
It's the third cap for Brazil for Pedro with only one goal, as Croatia have it in the box. And Vlasic tried to get a shot away, but it was deflected, and Brazilians look to come away with it with Marquinhos. Now Thiago Silva, back to Alisson. Looked to play it out to Eder Militao, but that time he played it out of play, and Croatia can continue to ramp the pressure on. 84 minutes in now. Perisic, first chance here for a Croatian long throw into the box.
Yeah, Croatia fans in high spirits here as their team approach extra time.
Perisic goes short to Sosa, looking to cut inside, and Casemiro does well to win it back, and Antony looks to play to the path of Pedro, who finds Rodrigo, and Brazil can spring a counter-attack here with Neymar. He's got Danilo to his left, and the Croatian bodies are flooding back, and they've now got 10, 11 men behind the ball as Neymar has it. Danilo over to Casemiro. Oh, he was shaping up to shoot, and Petkovic did so well to come back on his blind side. Still with Paqueta, though. Now it's Antony from the right. Plays it into Militao, who has a hit again, and it's just dragged wide. I think it took a deflection. It's going to be a corner kick for Brazil.
Yeah, brilliant stuff initially from Bruno Petkovic to stop the shot from Casemiro, but Brazil do so well to maintain the attack. Paqueta is shifting it out towards Antony, and Militao again picking up a very, very advanced position for a centre half of all kinds. But yeah, it's another blocked shot again from Croatia, throwing bodies on the line as the ball comes in, Lyle.
Antony plays it in, doesn't beat the first man. It's going to come back to Rodrigo. Brazilian bodies staying in the box here. Rodrigo over to Danilo. Back to Antony, but the pass was poor, and it's going to be a Croatian throw, and the substitutes on the Brazilian bench aren't happy with that one. 4 minutes of normal time to play. Brazilian fans, heads in hands, very, very nervous. They know that the quarterfinals has been tough for Brazil in previous World Cups. Ronaldo doesn't look happy either.
Yeah, the faces there of the Brazilian fans and Brazilian legends, it really resonates with how the feeling of this game is gone. I mean, lovely stuff there from Pedro, as Vardiol does well to just get it out for a goal kick for Croatia. But yeah, as I mentioned, the kind of emotion of Brazilian fans that we've just seen from the pictures, it certainly resonates with how this game has gone. I mean, Croatia are very, very good in extra time, and when it comes to penalties, they will back themselves, and it's not how Brazil want this game to go, and it's not how they will want to win it, but at the moment, Croatia hanging on here.
Dejan Lovren. Put under pressure by Pedro. But it's back to Livakovic. Now it's Gvardiol. No press from the Brazilians as Modric drops deep. And then Lucas Paqueta looks to put on the press. It's Kovacic on it. Antony now looking to press. The Croatians still have it now with Brozovic. Shifts it over to Dejan Lovren. But the Croatians still stuck inside their own half here. And Brozovic plays it out to Modric, and now they can drive forward towards halfway. Luka Modric. Looked to play it into the path of Perisic. Antony got something on it, but it came right back to the Real Madrid man. On the ball again, Modric. Looking to play a ball into the channel, but likes to go short to Kovacic, who can drive into the midfield here. Kovacic looked to play it through, but Thiago Silva was there. Did very well, but the ball comes to Borna Sosa off a deflection. Sosa plays it in. It's going to fall for Bruno Petkovic. That's a good challenge from Danilo. He had to get it right there. Petkovic on the edge of the box looking very threatening. Just couldn't get it under his spell, though.
Yeah, slow again there from Petkovic, but really positive attacking outing here for Croatia, Lyle. And that's so poor, but Borna Sosa does really well to recover.
Brozovic. Everyone in yellow behind the ball now. A goal conceded for either side at this stage would be detrimental.
Certainly, Lyle. And I mentioned that Croatia were hanging on just because of the chances that Brazil had, but this can certainly go anyway. And as extra time beckons, that'll obviously be a cause for concern for Zlatko Dalic, as well as Brazil will only get stronger and stronger in terms of attacking presence. Modric lost the forward here.
Plays it forward to Perisic. Look to take it down. It's going to fall to Sosa. Plays it in, and Thiago Silva is once again in the right place at the right time for Brazil as they get it out with Neymar. And then Pedro back to Neymar. Can they spring a counter here with Rodrigo? He's one-on-one with Juranovic, looking for support. He doesn't have any at the moment. The Juranovic does so well. What a player he's been this game.
Brilliant from Juranovic. I mean, he's backpedaling against one of the best dribblers in world football in Rodrigo, and Rodrigo just looks to get a little bit of a turn on him, just looks to skin him. Oh, brilliant stuff again from the Celtic man.
Petkovic loses out once more, this time to Paqueta. And now it's Neymar. Looks to shift it into the path of Pedro, and Lovren had to get there, and he did. Comes to Borna Sosa, who is put under pressure, and it's put out for a Brazilian throw. They take it quickly, and Brazil now with the impetus and the urgency. Anthony back to Casemiro. Now Neymar takes a look over his shoulder. Plays it into the path of Anthony. Cuts inside. He's got a man in the box, and it's Gvardiol with a very easy clearing header. Casemiro now recycles out to Danilo. As we hit 90 minutes here, it's Paqueta. Just wait to see how much added time comes out. Anthony, 4 minutes of added time, says the fourth official. As Brazil continue to probe, it's Neymar now. Plays it into the path of Rodrigo. Look to pull it back. It's going to be a corner kick again for Brazil.
Yeah, pressure mounting here for Croatia. Good defending again from Juranovic up against Rodrigo. Neymar, a little ball down the line for Rodrigo, and he pulls it back, but corner kick coming in again here, Lyle.
It's Rodrigo who comes across to take. Corner kick into a dangerous area, and Perisic had to get there. Pedro was lurking on the front post, and it was a vital header from the Croatian winger.
And I mean, we talked about the press from Brazil in the extra time, and obviously certainly in these last 3 minutes. But Richarlison, who went off, he only had 7 touches, but he created 4 chances for Brazil, twice the number of any of his teammates. And our executive producer is begging the question, where will that spark come now that Pedro's on the pitch? Is poorly given away from Casemiro there, Lyle.
Yeah, Brazilians do eventually win it back here. Petkovic puts Marquinhos under pressure, but eventually he's crowded out. He has no support up front. Can't be the outball if he doesn't have anybody to play it to, as Casemiro looks to lob it forward, intercepted by Dejan Lovren. And the Brazilians now look to press with Anthony. It's going to be a handball against the Manchester United man. Maybe inadvertent, but it was a handball nonetheless.
Yeah, you mentioned an interesting point there, Lyle, about Bruno Petkovic, and yeah, I know he is the outball, but he had no one forward there. I think Croatia are trying to just shut up shop here and get to extra time and go from there.
Fans of both teams now would be absolutely dreading a goal conceded by their nation as Croatia come forward, or look to, with Luka Modric. Now Gvardiol. 92 minutes played. 0-0 inside Education City Stadium. And neither team at the moment looks like scoring. Could be destined for extra time at this rate. Gvardiol. He's got green grass in front of him here. No press from the Brazilians. Switches it out to Juranovic. Now it's Brozovic. Again with time on the ball. Puts a cross and it's deflected, and Marquinhos rises to get it out. And then it's Paqueta with another defensive header. And Rodrigo, what a touch that is from Rodrigo. And then he nutmegs Luka Modric. Brilliant play from Rodrigo to alleviate some of that pressure for Brazil.
Stunning stuff there from Rodrigo. Lovely little nutmegs here on Luka Modric. Take a look at this. Whoop. Oh, stunning stuff from Rodrigo.
Close your legs, Luka.
And just draws a little bit of relief there from Brazil, as Croatia were just getting 1 or 2 numbers forward there, but
Madrid on Madrid crime.
that is lovely.
Rodrigo now on the ball. Still with a bit of a hobble, but let's hope he's okay for Brazil's sake. Thiago Silva. Now Marquinhos. Over to Danilo. Neymar. Plays into the path of Lucas Paqueta. Put under pressure by Kovacic, but it's shifted out wide to Anthony. Forced backwards, but he can drive up Borna Sosa. Anthony cuts inside. Looks to have a go, and it's going to be comfortable again for Livakovic, and that could just be the last chance of the game. 93 minutes played.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that was a cross or a shot. Maybe it was a shot from Anthony. I mean, we've seen him hitting before against that drubbing against Manchester City at the Etihad. He hit an absolutely stunning shot. But yeah, it's probably the last chance for Brazil as Livakovic just slows it down, and that brings close to the 90, Lyle.
Full time at the Education City Stadium. Well, the end of the 90 minutes, that is. We will have extra time once again in the knockout stages of the FIFA World Cup. Croatia have held Brazil. They haven't had much threat themselves, but what a defensive performance it's been for Zlatko Dalic's men. And Chiche has something to think about as we take a short break, and we'll be back for the start of extra time in just a moment. And we are back inside the Sports Gazette studios. It is a 0-0 at the 90-minute mark, and that is the record for the amount of 0-0s we've had in a World Cup ever at 90 minutes. While we still could have a goal here in extra time, I believe that is the record as we just look at some highlights here. And what a game it's been for Livakovic. What a game it's been for Juranovic. And the Croatian defense as a whole has done very, very well here against Brazil. They've repelled every threat that's come their way. Couple chances for Neymar, but overall, how do you rate Croatia's performance in these 90 minutes?
Yeah, Croatia have been exceptional, and I don't think it's down to Brazil being particularly poor in an attacking sense. I mean, a couple of times they've got in behind the Croatian back four, and the Croats have relied on their keeper, who's Livakovic. He's been absolutely incredible. I mean, he's denied Neymar on 2 occasions from a 1v1 situation, and he's been so assured in there. That's an interesting mask, by the way, as we just look at some highlights. But yeah, I mean, Brazil haven't been particularly bad. They've been really, really good going forward. But again, Croatia, I mentioned that this game will be won and lost. I know it's been drawn within the 90 minutes. But I mean, Croatia's midfield has just been absolutely exceptional. They've stifled Brazil's creativity, and they've limited the chances. And when the chances have come from Brazil, their keeper has come up trumps for them.
Yeah, and that Stranger Things mask was interesting, but extra time for the Croatians isn't a strange thing, actually.
That's lovely. Is that Stranger Things, is it?
It is Stranger Things, as 8 of the Croatia's last 9 knockout tournaments games have gone to extra time. The only one that didn't was the final that they lost to France.
Wow.
So they have the experience as the teams look to come out here for the first half of what will be 2 extra time periods, as you know, 15 minutes each. And then if we're still level at the end, it will go to penalties. Connor Keenan's prediction is looking like it could still come to fruition. He did predict 0-0. And then, Connor, I'm going to put you on the spot once again. You didn't give us a winner. Who's going to win if it does go to penalties? And wait, first of all, are you sticking with the 0-0? And who's going to win if it goes to penalties?
I'm sticking with a 0-0. I'm going Croatia on penalties.
Croatia on penalties. You've heard it here first.
Wow.
From Connor Keenan in studio. He was right the first time. Will he be right again?
But this suits Croatia so much, Lyle. I mean, that stat you brought up just completely illuminates what Croatia wanted from this game, to get it to extra time and then try force penalties, because maybe that's the only possible avenue that Zlatko Dalic sees his team beating Brazil in a quarterfinals of a World Cup. But yeah, huge half an hour here ahead for both sides as Michael Oliver just does the traditional coin toss.
Two captains over the ball, two icons of the game in Thiago Silva and Luka Modric, two elder statesmen, and two teams that are deadlocked here inside Education City Stadium as we look set to start the first half of extra time in the first of 4 World Cup quarterfinals, Croatia versus Brazil, with a chance to play in the Final Four on the line, and the Brazilians will get us underway to start extra time. Michael Oliver looks at his watch, and we're back underway. Lovely Rabona. Start the extra time there from Neymar.
Lovely stuff.
One of the highlights of the game so far.
And I mean, just touching on Croatia again, obviously we've praised them defensively and their doggedness in midfield, but 0 shots on target over 90 minutes. I mean, is that a concern, Lyle? I mean, going forward, it's not in their game. I don't think they came here thinking that they were going to out-attack Brazil, if that's a better way of saying it. But yeah, I mean, Croatia have virtually offered nothing going forward, but the onus now is certainly on Brazil, isn't it, Lyle?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a concern that you haven't troubled Alisson at all today, but the fact that they're still at 0-0, the fact that they've defended so well, and we spoke pre-game, as Sosa just gives away a corner there, we spoke pre-game that the longer it is at 0-0, the better it's going to be for Croatia, but they're going to have another half an hour to look to repel this lethal Brazilian attack as Neymar is going to look to come over and take this corner kick. Everyone forward for Brazil. Neymar to take the corner. Can it be a good one? Plays it in. It's a good ball. Pedro's in there. Look for the flick on header. It's going to come to Lucas Paqueta. Under pressure from Juranovic, who does well. And then Paqueta looks to win a free kick. I'm not too sure if he did. Just goes down under the contact from Juranovic, and he stays down. As Tite looks on.
Yeah, Paqueta just drawing the foul here from Juranovic. Not sure if it was actually given. Yeah, he pushes him in the back, and interestingly, he goes down holding his kneecap, which is a bit strange. But we mentioned no shots on target for Croatia, and Conor Keenan's just informed us that no team dating back as far as 1966 has progressed in a knockout stage match without managing a shot on target. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. But I mean, that's what Croatia are about, Lyle. They defend and they work hard in midfield, and they try to take their chances when and if they come.
And that has been their identity in the 3 games that we've covered for Croatia so far. And it wasn't a free kick, actually. The referee told Paqueta to get on with it, and it was a Croatian throw as the ball comes back to Alisson. By the way, that's pure coincidence that we've covered 3 Croatia games. But they've showed over those games and over the tournament that they are a tough outfit, that they are hard to beat, and they've proven it here again against many people's favorites in Brazil as Anthony goes down, and again it's no free kick, and he gets up and berates the linesman, and Michael Oliver has just come across to remind him to calm down a bit. But you can look here at the challenge, and he's dragged down by the neck there by Borna Sosa.
Yeah, hostile protestations there from Anthony, but I mean, yeah, it's you don't like to see that. It's a little bit
foul.
of a that should be a foul. I mean, it's pretty dirty stuff there from Borna Sosa just to drag the hand across the faces. That's a good foul one there by Brozovic.
Bit of dark arts, bit of sly stuff from both teams we've seen in this game so far. Dejan Lovren. Back to Livakovic. Now Josko Gvardiol. Pedro looking to put the press on. Livakovic hoofs it forward, but it's only as far as Paqueta, but his touch falls once again for Gvardiol, who can play it out to Borna Sosa, whose ball comes forward, but it's a good challenge there from Eder Militao, but it's going to fall for Bruno Petkovic. Put under pressure by Thiago Silva. Then Eder Militao wins it back. No foul, says the referee. It's a lovely nutmeg again from Anthony, and again Borna Sosa brings him down, and Anthony's so frustrated now because that's a couple of times he's beaten Borna Sosa and been pegged back.
Stunning stuff there from Anthony. just a little ball roll through the legs of Sosa, and he draws the foul. But yeah, surprising that Sosa hasn't been dished out a yellow card here, Lyle.
Yeah, Anthony's had him on skates so many times. Lovely bit of flair from the right winger. Back to Marquinhos now. Neymar. Face to face with Brozovic, and again he drives past him, plays it out to Danilo from this left hand side. Danilo looks to play the cross, and it's a poor cross, and it's going to go all the way out for a goal kick. As we see here, Neymar's foul on Brozovic. Just a bit cynical there, and he left a bit of extra on him. Maybe a lucky boy there to escape a yellow card as we look at the first foul, and then he swings once again and just catches Brozovic. And as we said, a bit of dark arts, a bit of sly stuff from both teams.
Yeah, you don't like to see it, but I mean, tensions are high here amongst Brazil. The Brazil team, they've been frustrated by Croatia, and it's certainly showing here as we enter 5 minutes of extra time.
Kovacic. Vardiol spears it out to Luka Modric, who looks to drive forward now with the ball, plays it into the path of Vlasic, and it's Marquinhos again. Fantastic bit of composure, and then Casemiro on back to Marquinhos. Lovely play there between the defensive midfielder and his centre-back. As the ball comes to Anthony, once again he shifts past Borna Sosa brilliantly, and he's off now. He's got Perisic for company. Anthony looking for support, plays it back. It's a under hit pass, but he has it back once again. Plays a lovely ball into Paqueta. Pulls it back to Casemiro. Over to the right hand side for Rodrigo now. Rodrigo shifts it onto his left. Plays it to Danilo. Shapes the cross. Plays it in. It's a good header away from Borna Sosa. And Petkovic spins away from Thiago Silva and can look to hold it up. But it's won back so well by the Brazilians. And now they can put pressure consistently on Croatia. Danilo on the ball. Back to Casemiro. Marquinhos over to Anthony. Can he skin Sosa again? Just chooses to cut inside and play a cross in towards Neymar. Heads it back into the box looking for Pedro. Just a bit of afters there, but it comes to Neymar into the path of Paqueta looking for the return ball, and Juranovic had to be sure, and he was. And it's going to be a foul against Lucas Paqueta and Luka Modric after coming together, but Brazil there with Anthony as the catalyst. Just again looking to turn the screw, but couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, good all-around play from Anthony. Lovely little turn to get away from Borna Sosa. Again, he certainly has him on skates. But, yeah, great touch from Juranovic in the box there as well defensively to just deny that little turn around the corner from Neymar. But touching again on Bruno Petkovic, he has to do so much better. I mean, he is so isolated in fairness to him, but he has to do much, much better in terms of a kind of outball for Croatia at the moment, because they are sitting in deep as Croatia just draw the foul there from Brozovic.
Tite just looking to give some instructions to his men. 7 minutes into extra time, and Croatia can venture forward for the real first time here with Modric. Plays it into the path of Brozovic, who's got men over. Good interception by Lucas Paqueta, and then Rodrigo can get it to Casemiro. It's going to be a foul, I believe. It's going to be Alexandro getting ready to come on for Brazil.
Yeah, it looks like it'll probably just be a straight swap for Danilo. Alexandro, obviously not the same player as he used to be now at Juventus, but yeah, just some fresh legs for Chiche maybe heading into extra time.
Alisson on the ball. Over to Thiago Silva. Marquinhos. Brazil now just looking to slow the game down. Thiago Silva. Who's going to be the hero, if there is to be one, for Brazil, or indeed for Croatia? Neymar. So often he's been the key, and he's had his chances today, but Livakovic was equal to each and every one of them. Neymar over to Rodrigo. Rodrigo looks to play it. It's a good ball, and Paqueta just couldn't get there. Sosa did very, very well to get across him.
Yeah, good cross into the box there, Lyle, but Livakovic just done well to just shepherd it out of play. But Livakovic has made 9 saves in this half, or in this game, and in total 90 minutes, which is the most of any Croatian keeper in a World Cup match. But I mean, that'll be so so influential for him going into the penalty shootout if we get there. And I mean, you mentioned that battle he's had with Neymar, and it's being won by him at the moment as Vlasic comes forward here for Croatia, Lyle.
Vlasic just looking to go at Marquinhos, and he does really well to retain possession for the Croatians. It's Luka Modric driving at Casemiro, plays it out to Vlasic, plays the first time cross in, and Marquinhos does well to get a foot out and get something on it as Lucas Paqueta is judged to have been fouled by Mateo Kovacic. Just a push in the back, says Michael Oliver, and I think he's onto something there. Free kick taken quickly. Marquinhos on the ball. Brazil in a hurry to get on with it. Danilo. Back to Alisson.
Virtually unfazed today, Alisson. I mean, he's had nothing to face from a Croatian attack, but he'll need to have his wits about him if this game does go to a penalty shootout.
Danilo. Plays into the feet of Pedro, looking to hold it up. He does really well to get it over to Neymar. Neymar into the path of Lucas Paqueta. You look for him, but there's a good interception by Dejan Lovren. Comes back to Eder Militao now. Out wide to Anthony. This time faced by Perisic, excuse me. Anthony, 2-on-1. Plays it back to Militao. Anthony again. Back towards Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva looks to play a ball into the box, and Pedro with an acrobatic effort. But in the end, it falls harmlessly to Livakovic in goal.
Yeah, Pedro looking to channel his inner Richarlison there, but yeah, pretty audacious effort in the end from the Brazilian big man. But yeah, pretty routine stuff for Livakovic, and Croatia still continuing to frustrate Brazil here.
Yeah, he just couldn't catch that properly there, Pedro. His shot was skewed and took a touch off the turf, and it took all the pace off. It made it very, very easy for Dominik Livakovic to make a stop. As Pedro now looks to press Vardiol, who plays it across to Lovren. Dejan Lovren. Into the feet of Vlasic. Faced by Rodrigo, plays it back to Brozovic. Comes to Modric and then Sosa. Kovacic. Lovely ball into Kovacic from Luka Modric. Kovacic still driving forward. He's against Thiago Silva, who throws his body on the line and does so well once again. What a colossus he is, as Casemiro's put under pressure and hoofs it forward towards Paqueta. Lovely first time ball back to Anthony, and the Brazilians can spring a counter-attack here with Eder Militao. He's got two men in the middle, plays into the path of Neymar. Oh, it's a poor first touch and a fantastic challenge from Dejan Lovren. Some great defending being put on display here as Croatia come back at Brazil. It's Petkovic now. He's got no one for support. It's 1-on-5, and he does so well to skin his man. Petkovic, he has support now from Brozovic. He plays it into Brozovic, and it's a poor shot from the Inter Milan man. But what is a fantastic bit of play there from Bruno Petkovic. He's put Andrew to shame with that one.
Wow, Bruno Petkovic. I mean, he's just copy and pasted some of the Brazilian moves. Wow, look at that, Lyle. Just absolutely skins Thiago Silva and Marquinhos, and then he just gets a good ball into Brozovic, and he absolutely skews his shot. What a chance for Croatia.
It was a ball roll into a chop, and he went between two Brazilian players with ease. He's got to get a yellow shirt on at this rate.
Incredible stuff, Lyle. I mean, we questioned his hold-up play, but he's just shown... I questioned his hold-up play, but I mean, he was brilliant going forward there. I just want to touch on Dejan Lovren there as well. He's just had an absolutely incredible game. A couple of times in Brazil's recent attacks, he's just put in one or two little interceptions, and I mean, he's just had an absolutely astonishing game. He got a man of the match in our last game that we covered with Croatia and Japan, and he's been exceptional again.
Modric looks to put it forward into a channel. It's going to come to Sosa, but Militao does very well to get across. And then he plays into the path of Anthony, who looks to shift gear and get past Kovacic and then do it again to get past Sosa. Does well to hold it up and then wins a throw-in off Ivan Perisic. And the two go face-to-face. And Anthony, we know, doesn't back down from anyone. And Perisic just laughing in his face a bit. Michael Oliver just reminding the two that they've got to keep their wits about them. They've got to stay calm.
I mean, you always have to love when players have them little face-offs. It means nothing ever going to come for it. You're both going to get sent off realistically as Brazil come forward again here.
Rodrigo. Haven't seen much from him in this extra time period. It's been all Anthony. Rodrigo from this left-hand side, back into the path of Danilo, who's going to have a hit, and he skewed it. And he's giving the ball to a lucky Brazilian fan that time.
I mean, it's poor from Danilo, but, I mean, given how well Croatia have defended for virtually 104 minutes, I mean, you can't really begrudge the Brazilians for just trying to have a long-range effort, but, yeah, poor from Danilo. You'd expect a little bit better from him.
And as we approach 30 seconds left to play in this first period of extra time, Croatia here have done so well to just hold it. As Modric, we see, has the most defensive line breaks with 5 in the game. But the Brazilians have won it back now. Casemiro, lovely touch there to get away from the attentions of Perisic. Then he evades the foul. Advantage played by Michael Oliver. And then another foul thrown in by Kovacic. And another advantage played. And now it's Anthony. And it's eventually going to be a Brazilian throw.
I thought that would have been brought back for a foul there on Eder Militao, but Michael Oliver happy to just give Brazil the throw in, as one additional minute is added on here of the first half of extra time.
Croatian fans sending their prayers up as Marquinhos is on the ball again. Neymar. Can the Brazilians fashion a last chance before the game's up? Neymar tried to play into Paqueta. He's got it back, and Neymar's in behind. He goes around the keeper, and Neymar puts it into the back of the net. Brazil's all-time leading goal scorer now. He's a Brazilian icon. Second all-time, excuse me. Connors has me all over the place. He's level now with Pele. And Brazil take the lead on the stroke of halftime. It's a perfect time to score, Andrew.
Heartbreak for Croatia, Lyle. You could just see them absolutely collapse to the floor when that goal went in. I mean, it's brilliant play from Neymar individually. I mean, we'll just have a look at it here. It just comes to Marquinhos. Neymar just drops deep, collects the ball, and here's where the magic gets turned on. He just plays it into Rodrigo, gets it back, plays it then to Paqueta, gets it back again, evades the attentions of Borna Sosa, rounds Livakovic, finally beats Livakovic and smashes it into the roof of the net. Jubilation for Brazil, heartbreak for Croatia. Can you believe this?
What a goal that is. Elite team play. Neymar, once again the main man. And just to clarify, he's gone level with Pele now, as our statistician kind of had me on my heels there, but lovely composure. Goes around the keeper, evaded the challenge. 1-2s all over the place, and Chiche goes to hug his assistants and his coaching staff. Jubilation for Brazil and the Croatians after defending so well for 107 minutes. Go behind.
Lyle,
What a moment.
Yeah, what a moment indeed, Lyle. But I mean, when you do defend for that long in a game, obviously with the quality that Brazil have, they're always eventually going to turn it on. And what a little cameo that is from Neymar. But Croatia have offered nothing going forward, and eventually they've paid the price. Individual heartbreak from Dominik Livakovic, who's thwarted Neymar on several occasions, but the Brazilians finally got the better of him.
And you have to say, it's nothing more than Brazil deserve. As the match gets back underway, surely we can't have much more left of this first half of extra time. But Croatia have defended well, but in terms of attacking, it's been all Brazil. But Vlasic now comes forward. Can the Croatians find something at the end of this first half of extra time? It's Juranovic, plays it into the path of Petkovic, and it's eventually cleared by Anthony. And Michael Oliver takes a look at his watch, but the play is going to continue. It's Modric on the ball. And then Michael Oliver calls an end to the first half of extra time. Neymar has once again proved the difference for Brazil. What a player he is. What a team they are. At the end of the first half of extra time, it's Brazil 1, Croatia 0. And the Croatian defense finally beaten. And as I was saying, you have to credit Croatia for the way they've defended, but in terms of attacking threat, attacking impetus, it's been all Brazil all day. They've knocked at the door, and finally it was Neymar that turned the key. As we take another look at the goal, Neymar played it in, got the return pass from Rodrigo, then another return pass from Paqueta, rode the challenge, went around the keeper. And that's a very, very, very good goal.
Stunning goal from Brazil all around. I mean, as you mentioned, Neymar linking up twice with a little 1-2 and then rounding Livakovic. But I mean, give as much praise as you want to Croatia, as we have done throughout this game, but when you play that defensively and don't have any shots on target, you do leave yourself a little bit susceptible to conceding chances. And I mean, it is a moment of sheer quality that's completely underpinned them here. But I mean, Croatia only have themselves to blame for defending so deeply. But we just seen there at the end of the first half of extra time, they came forward and they actually had a really, really good opening with Juranovic down the right-hand side. Pekovic obviously had that chance when he shimmied his way through. And I mean, it's a bit frustration. You know, Croatia can attack and they can certainly show their attacking endeavours, but they've just refused not to. But now, in this last 15 minutes, you can expect them to certainly throw all their eggs in one basket and certainly go for this.
And we're going to go to Connor Keenan really quickly. It's absolute heartbreak for you, Connor. Your prediction has gone by the wayside. What do you make of that goal? What do you make of the first half of extra time?
Hey, my prediction lasted 90 minutes. I was just thinking before the goal went in that Neymar was one behind Pele, and if he was ever going to compare himself to the great one, he has to step up in games like this, and he's done just that. That could be the defining goal in his Brazilian career, depending on how far they go in this tournament. So it leaves us an exciting 15 minutes. Now Croatia have to go for this. We saw, as Andrew said, they created 1 or 2 half chances. There is a goal in this Croatia team, and they have 15 minutes to get that.
And we are going to finally see Alexandro come into the fray. We saw him get prepared to come on, and it is going to be Eder Militao. So you just assume that it may just be a switch between the two sides. Danilo, who is naturally a right back, goes back to right back, and then Alexandro, who is, of course, a left back, is going to come in and play in that role. But Neymar, what a player. And so often he's carried the hopes of a nation on his shoulders. From such a young age, he was touted as the prince of Brazilian football, as we see. Fred, as well, is going to come on. It's going to be in place of Lucas Paqueta as Tiche, maybe just looking to shut the door, but...
Yeah, defensive changes here in the offing for Brazil. I think Croatia have just responded with an attacking substitution. I think Lovren Meyer is going to come on. It hasn't been confirmed yet who's come off, but yeah, we're just back underway here for the second half.
Second half of extra time now. Brazil versus Croatia. It's Croatia 0. It's Brazil 1. It's Neymar who broke the deadlock in a move that involved 2 other players, but in reality it was all his making. He started the move himself. He finished the move himself. Composure, poise, technique, dribbling, brilliance. Croatia on it with Modric. Modric looks to shift it over now. And Rodrigo puts the press on. And Neymar as well was trying to press. It's going to be a foul here against Lovren Meyer.
Yeah, Brazil need to keep their discipline here. They don't want to give away any silly fouls. And Croatia are a serious threat from across.
And they're going to have a chance here to put the ball into the box. Vardiol, Perisic, Petkovic, all up. Luka Modric over it. He's certainly not coming off now, is he? Modric plays it in. Headed out by Alexandro, but it comes right back to Luka Modric. He's got Lovren Meyer out wide. Here is Meyer. Plays inside. Brozovic back to Meyer. Cuts back, looking for support. Plays into the box, and Fred does well to get it out. It's going to come to Modric, who does so well to win that header there over Neymar. And Croatia can once again build with Josko Gvardiol. Shifts it over now for Ivan Perisic. Looking to go one-on-one with Danilo. Perisic plays it in. Just overhit there, and Rodrigo can look to come away with it. And Modric can't keep it, and it's going to be a Brazilian throw.
Yeah, I know we're only a minute and a half in, but you can just see a clear contrast. Croatia completely on the front foot, and I expect them to certainly not dominate, but certainly dominate the attacking onus of what's left here anyway.
Alexandro just telling his men to go forward for this long throw towards Pedro, but it's intercepted by Juranovic. Lovren Meyer coming forward now, looking to get past Casemiro and Pedro. Does really well, but eventually Pedro wins it back and gets a flick from Rodrigo, and now Pedro can drive forward. He's got nothing for support, but he does really well there and looks to turn on the burners, but Lovren was always winning that race. Comes back to Livakovic, and Pedro now continuing to press now Gvardiol, but no one up supporting that press. Marcel Brozovic. Now Lovren Meyer. Looking to drive Croatia forward. Good interception from Pedro. What a workhorse he is up front, and he's going to win it here for Brazil. Did initially, but Meyer did well to get it back. And now it's Brozovic.
Yeah, Pedro's going to be massive for Brazil here in the last 13 minutes or so. Initially, he was brought on to try get a winner, but now his role in the team is slightly just altered, and he'll be looking to hold up the play and be a nuisance up there.
Ball in. Oh, and it's just out of the reach of Vlasic. Comes all the way through to Rodrigo, who can hook it forward once again, this time looking for Neymar. But he's not going to win that race against Gvardia. Looks to put him under pressure, and he drags him down cynically, and that's going to be a foul against Neymar. Gvardia goes down. But Croatia get on with it quickly. They have to here. Just about 12 minutes of extra time left with their World Cup dreams on the line. Sosa. Perisic. Into the path of Luka Modric. Put under press by Freddy. Evades the challenge really well, and then Fred recovers and puts it out for a corner kick.
I mean, it must be so frustrating, should I say, sorry, from a Croatian perspective. I mean, they're finally getting forward in the game, and I understand it's a lovely little shimmy from Luka Modric, by the way, but they're finally getting forward, and they're finally putting Brazil under some pressure. Granted, Brazil are a lot more conservative and defensive, but where was this for the rest of the game? As we just see a substitution here for Croatia. It's going to be Ante Budimir. So it looks like they are going to go with two strikers, two big men up top here for Croatia. And it's going to be Borna Sosa, the fullback, coming off. He's had an okay game. 3 clearances. He's covered nearly 12 kilometres. He's had a really good game, but Budimir is another offensive threat in that box, Lyle.
Yeah. Croatia now going to throw everything at this Brazilian back line. Modric takes the corner short to Lovro Meyer. Now Brozovic. Back to Meyer. They've got to get something in the box here. Bring it back to Luka Modric. And then Brozovic. Lovro Meyer. He may have been offside, but he plays the ball in. All the way over to Petkovic. Looks to take it down. Alexandro puts him under pressure, and Casemiro does well to get it out. And it's going to come to Neymar. Looks to lead the counter-attack, but in the end, it just slows it down. And then he gives away a throw, and it's actually going to be a Croatia throw. Perisic to take.
Yeah, poor there from Neymar. I think he was just trying to bait in Perisic and try get a little bit of a highlight reel of a skill move off, but you don't need that when you're 10 minutes away from progressing to a World Cup semi-finals. Croatia on the ball here again.
Vardio. He's got Modric to his left, and he uses him. It's Luka Modric. Looks for the diagonal for Perisic, who's switched over to the right-hand side. Casemiro can hook it clear, but only as far as Gvardia. And that's now it's still attack against defense, but the roles have been reversed. It's Croatia now going forward with Dejan Lovren looking to shift something into the box. Thiago Silva had to get there. There's going to be a foul against Thiago Silva, I believe, by Ante Budimir.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Lyle. Certainly the attacking and defensive properties in this game have been completely flipped on their head, but I mean, Brazil are doing really well so far. They're denying every cross that comes into the box, but I think that's why Zlatko Dalic has brought on Ante Budimir. Croatia have resorted to a lot of crosses in the last 5-10 minutes, so it's no surprise as we just take a look at this Neymar goal again. 1-2, 1-2, round the goalkeeper, Bosch. Lovely, lovely goal.
Heartbreak for the Croatians. Elation for the Brazilians. But can they hold on? Just about 8 minutes to play. As we said, it's 77th goal for Brazil, for Neymar. Level with the icon. Perisic hoofs it clear. Up towards Petkovic. Looks to win the header against Alexandra, who does really well. And then Rodrigo rises for the header. Looks to win the second ball, but fouls Brozovic. And Croatia have possession once again. And Brazil just struggling at the moment to keep hold of the ball as Croatia put the pressure on. And Pedro is the second person to have fouled Brozovic in the space of 30 seconds.
Yeah, Brazil just being a little bit disruptive here at the moment, just trying to break every single possible Croatian attack as they force him back again.
Here is Lovro Meyer. Meyer from the right. Put under pressure by Neymar. Plays it back to Dejan Lovren. Now Josko Gvardio. Luka Modric. Ivan Perisic. Looking to drive at Anthony. Perisic. Anthony does really well there. And it's going to be a a goal kick, I believe. Yes, it is. Very good defending there from Anthony.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Anthony. Ivan Perisic with his trademark step overs. Tries to take on Anthony, but he does really well. Just gives him a little hunch. And Perisic can't get there.
Fantastic work from the right winger, and it's everybody behind the ball for Brazil now. There's going to be another substitution for Croatia.
Yeah, it's going to be Mislav Orsic coming on for Marcelo Brozovic. So, again, as you would expect, another offensive change for Dallas. He's probably just going to go with 2 in midfield, throw 2 up top. Maybe Orsic will just go up there as well. He's obviously a winger by trade for Zagreb, but will be interesting to see how Croatia are going to set up. I think at these stages, in these sort of games, Lyle, there is no actual formation. They just throw numbers on there and just try to get as many attacking outlets as they can up the pitches. That's really good play from Anthony again, just to run down the clock.
Wins a corner off Lovro-Meyer, and you can expect the Brazilians are going to take all the time in the world to take this corner. The fans so happy for that goal, and they look at this rate to have put their quarterfinal hoodoo behind them, but there's still 7 minutes to play, and you can never count out this dogged Croatia side. Corner taken short to Neymar. Plays it all the way back to Fred. Now it's Casemiro. Anthony shifts it back to Neymar. It's going to be a foul on Neymar by Bruno Petkovic. And again, it's really good work from the Brazilians just to run this clock down.
Yeah, great stuff from the Brazilians. I'm just seeing here that 5 of the last 7 World Cup matches to go to extra time have involved Croatia. They've progressed from each of the previous 4, but it looks like coming to an end now.
Neymar to take the free kick, and he takes it short to no one's surprise. Anthony passes under hit, but it's going to come back to Fred. Plays it to Danilo, who hooks it forward, looking for Anthony, and it's Perisic, who's now moved to left back with it. Neymar keeps it in. Anthony put under pressure by Modric. Vardial goes back to his keeper. And Croatia now finally have a chance to go forward once again. It's going to be Dejan Lovren looking to drive them into the Brazilian half. Lovren, long diagonal, looking for Orsic, but that's a really poor ball from Dejan Lovren. Last thing you need if you're Croatia.
Yeah, really poor there from Croatia. Just a long, hopeless ball, and I mean, it is understandable with Ante Budimir and Bruno Petkovic up there, but yeah, really getting to the crunch time now here for Croatia.
Can they find something, the Croatians? 5 minutes to play. Pedro on the ball here. He plays it into the path of Fred. Oh, it's a fantastic challenge from Vardial. Get something on it. He had to do that right. He was the last man. It was a fantastic challenge, and ball comes back to Lovro-Meyer. Over to Modric, and now it's Vlasic. He's got men up with him. It's Vlasic. He plays it out wide to Orsic. He's got 2 men in the box here. It's Orsic from left-hand side. He pulls it back. It's Bruno Petkovic. It takes a deflection, and it's in. And Croatia have an equalizer. It's Bruno Petkovic.
I don't believe what I have just seen, Lyle. Croatia have just hit Brazil on the counter. There's 4 minutes left to play. Brazil had numbers forward. Croatia break. And it's Bruno Petkovic, the man who's been absolutely slandered by myself. He's just sent this game to penalties by the looks of it. Stunning scenes here, Lyle.
Oh, and Brazil just caught out. Wrong place at the wrong time. And Modric.
We just take a look at it again here. It's Nico Vlasic. Look at this. It's 4-on-4. Look at the Brazil back four. They're completely disjointed. Orsic has an easy pass to Petkovic, and I mean, I'm not too sure if that takes a deflection off Marquinhos. We're just going to get a look at a better angle here now. Yeah, it comes to Petkovic. Takes a little bit of a nick. Just flails Alisson. He can't get there. First shot on target for Croatia. First goal, 1-1.
Oh, that's agonizing for Alisson in net. Nothing to do all game. And the first time he's tested, he lets the goal in. It's a terrible deflection for him. Zlatko Dalic loves that. And it's Bruno Petkovic off the bench into the headlines. And Brazil have it all to do again. And they've made substitutions. They've taken off Lucas Paqueta to bring on Fred.
Incredible stuff here, like.
Fantastic stuff here. Connor Keenan in studio is ecstatic. He loves it. And Brazil now As I said, they have to do it again. It's Neymar. Back to Alexandro. Marquinhos.
Just left scratching my head there at Brazil. They were completely disjointed. It was a 4v4. It was a good break from Croatia. But what about that Brazilian backline who have looked so assured throughout this tournament? They really, really caught there in some suspect defending. And Croatia, from the death, right at the death, have brought it level.
Of course, Petkovic for his celebration, removing his shirt, getting that yellow card. But he'll take that all day as their free kick goes out of play, and Brazil have a minute and a half to do it once more. And I'm not sure if there's any time for anything at this moment. All the Brazilian heads dropped. And the Croatian fans now the ones jumping around, elated, and the Brazilian fans so disappointed with that. And we look destined at this point for penalties again. But the Brazilians scored once in first half of extra time, stoppage time. You can never count them out as Neymar looks to win it back, and he does well. Almost came to Rodrigo, but Dejan Lovren did so well there to win it back, and then win a free kick off Neymar.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Dejan Lovren up against Neymar, but this is just incredible stuff. I mean, Croatia finally get on the front foot. They finally get some attacking onus going into their game, and lo and behold, they get a goal. Who would have thought it? But Brazil have really... I mean, they haven't really particularly defended well. Croatia took hold of the game once Brazil went ahead, and now they face a penalty shootout against a team who have a very, very large amount of experience in the shootout. What a turnaround this has been, Lyle.
Absolutely fantastic period of extra time as Lovro Meyer comes forward. He has a hit from distance, and it's just wide of Alisson's net, but he saw it all the way, and just about 10 seconds left of normal time in extra time. Surely there'll be a bit of added time here for that celebration after the goal. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this game. 2 minutes for either team to once again find a hero. We first thought it would be Neymar, but now it's looking like it could be Petkovic as the hero.
Yeah, I mean, Petkovic, who did struggle when he came on, but chance here for Anthony maybe.
Anthony looking to drive at Gvardiol. He's got no one up for support. Gvardiol does very well, but Anthony, can he keep it on? And it's a foul from Perisic. Fantastic play there from Anthony, and the Brazilian subs calling for something. Calling for a yellow card, I think.
Yeah, Perisic and Anthony have been at each other's necks since Anthony's been introduced, but yeah, really, really poor decision there from Perisic. I mean, him and Gvardiol have him shepherded, they have him covered, and it's just a really rash challenge from Perisic. And a chance here for Brazil to get across into the box, and maybe their last chance of this game.
The prayers of a nation going up. Neymar over the free kick. Can he create magic once again? He's got men in the box. It's going to be Neymar to swing it in. It's a good ball into the box, and it's a great header from Lovren. It's still in the box. It's Casemiro. It's a good save. And Gvardiol throws his body at it to get it out, and it's going to be a handball against Fred, and the Croatians once again repel the Brazilian threat.
Oh, brilliant again from Croatia. First Dejan Lovren with a great defensive header, and then Livakovic just throwing his body on the line again to deny Casemiro. I think it's Gvardiol in there again. Great save again from Livakovic. Granted, it straight at him. Well, I mean, this is just stunning from Croatia. The Croat resurgence has been well and truly in force here, Lyle.
And going into extra time, or going into penalties, excuse me, as it looks like it's going to be all the momentum with Croatia. And Livakovic, who's made saves all day. That is it. It's going to be penalty shootouts. It's going to be a penalty shootout once again in the FIFA World Cup. It was Neymar at the end of first half stoppage time who looked like he was going to be the hero, but it was Bruno Petkovic who pegged Brazil back and has ensured that we will have the most dramatic finish possible to this game. At the end of extra time, it's Croatia 1, Brazil 1, and we will have penalties. Andrew, what do you make of it?
It's just absolutely incredible, Lyle. I mean, over the course of the game as a whole, Brazil done really well. They had some great attacking opportunities, and they got that wonderful goal through Neymar, but Croatia dug deep. They stayed in the game, and I criticised them for having no shots on target, not going forward. But lo and behold, they get forward and they get a goal. Wow. And it's Bruno Pekovic, the man that I criticise so often throughout this game and so often throughout this tournament. And he's come up with a huge goal. Fortunate deflection, it must be said, to divert it away from Alisson, but Croatia have reached the promised land of penalties, and now they have a huge chance of reaching the semi-finals.
As you just take a look here, this was Gvardiol's last-ditch challenge on Fred. It was 5 against 4 for Brazil, and he had to get that right. I'm just going to go really, really quickly to our executive producer in studio, Connor. At the end of extra time, what do you make of that game?
An incredible comeback, really. It was easy to write the Croatians off after the first goal, but they've come back, they've dug deep, and they've got a bit of luck there with the deflection from off Marquinhos. But you can see what it means to the players. They're all sprinting onto the pitch. They came into this game, they clearly wanted penalties, and they've got it. I've been scrambling to get some penalty shootout stats here. It's good news for the Croatians. They've had 3 World Cup penalty shootouts, and they've won all 3. Two in 2018, 1 obviously in 2020 against Japan in the last round. Don't write off Brazil. They're 3-4 in World Cup penalty shootouts. Their most recent coming against Chile when they hosted the tournament back in 2014.
Penalty shootouts here, Andrew. In terms of keepers, Livakovic has been in action all night, and Alisson hasn't made a save tonight.
Yeah, Alisson hasn't made a save, and the first shot that he faces takes a wicked deflection and completely wrong foots him. But Livakovic has been in inspired form. He's obviously been a lot more active, a lot more involved in the game. So could that just edge Croatia over the line here in the penalty shootout? We're going to find out. But I mean, Connor's just raised a few interesting statistics there, and it looks like neither side can really be separated on their penalty shootout record in World Cup finals. So, I mean, this is going to be so intriguing as the players just get ready to take what is essentially a lottery to get to a semi-final. Would you agree? It's
Certainly
a tough way to call such a monumental game, such a massive game.
Absolutely massive. And, of course, you know, Neymar in that game against South Korea, he scored his penalty, and everyone was fawning over it. What a pen it was, but it's going to be absolutely massive. Luka Modric still on the pitch to be able to take a penalty as we see the coin toss between the two captains. So we know how vital the coin toss is. More often than not, whoever wins the coin toss tends to win the shootout. As we see it, Thiago Silva wins the coin toss. The penalties will be taken in front of the Brazil end. And this Luka Modric, who has won in terms of the penalty order, and I think it means Croatia are going to go first here. Dominik Livakovic has been massive so far for Croatia. Alisson Becker has been massive in this tournament for Brazil.
And I mean, if you look at Alisson Becker in penalty shootouts, it's particularly hard to judge. Whenever Liverpool have got to a final, it's always been Quiveen Keller who's been deputised in goal, so it is hard to judge. And obviously Livakovic is also someone that we're not astute to seeing in a penalty shootout, so this is going to be fascinating as Nikola Vlasic has that sea of yellow behind him, that Brazilian yellow, eyes daggered towards him as nerves of steel are needed here for the Croats.
And quickly, as we get into this penalty shootout, ensure you drop your predictions in the live chat. It's going to be Vlasic first to take against Alisson, as the referee just has a talk with both keepers, ensuring to tell them, stay on your lines. This is going to be vital in terms of the two goalkeepers going into this shootout. Croatian fans, Brazilian fans, all the fans praying. As we mentioned, it's Croatia first to take. It's Alisson against Vlasic. How are we going to see this shootout start?
Scored in the shootout against Japan, of course, Lyle.
Vlasic against Alisson. Waiting for Michael Oliver's whistle. It's Vlasic. Oh, it's a wonderful penalty right down the middle into the roof of the net. And Croatia off the mark.
Yeah, you can never really go wrong, just smashing it down the middle. Alisson guesses the wrong way, and it's a really, really assured penalty from Nikola Vlasic. Obviously got his penalty scored against Japan too. And over to you, Brazil. Over to you, Rodrigo.
Rodrigo will be the first to take for Brazil a kiss of the ball. And Neymar can't stand to watch. Michael Oliver just ensuring that he knows the rules as well. Rodrigo against Livakovic to make it 1-1 for Brazil. It's Rodrigo stepping up. And Livakovic saves! It was a poor penalty from Rodrigo, and it's Dominic Livakovic who makes the stop for the Croatians.
Oh, absolutely incredible, Lyle. It's such a poor penalty. Livakovic guesses the right way and makes a pretty routine save. I know we've given him praises, but it's such a poor penalty from Rodrigo. He kind of makes it a little bit obvious where he's going with his position of his body as he runs up to the ball, and he doesn't really get that much accuracy. Back to Croatia.
It's going to be back to Croatia and back to Lovro Majer to take the second penalty. He can put Croatia 2-0 up in the shootout. Lovro Majer against Alisson Becker. It's going to be Majer, and it's down the middle again, and Alisson dives to his right again, and Croatia are in the ascendancy. It's 2-0 in the shootout.
Yeah, Alisson's getting absolutely done in here. I mean, he's guessed right again, and Lovro Majer goes straight down the middle, Troy Deeney style. Alisson tries to swing a leg at it, but advantage Croatia, 2-0 up in the shootout. And now Casemiro stands up for Brazil. He needs to score this, Lyle.
Can Dominic Livakovic do it again for Croatia? It's Casemiro against Livakovic. Very, very good penalty from Casemiro right into the corner. No chance for Livakovic. It's game on.
Yeah, I mean, very, very opposite to what Rodrigo's penalty was. Look at this from Casemiro, straight in the corner. Stunning, stunning penalty from the Manchester United man. Livakovic guesses the right way, but he's never getting near that. A wry smile there from Casemiro, but he knows his team are in trouble.
And he gives it to his former Real Madrid teammate, Luka Modric, to take the third penalty for Croatia. Croatia leading in the shootout 2-1. And Luka Modric, a picture of composure. Can he keep Croatia's perfect streak on? It's Modric against Alisson. It's Luka Modric, and he sends him the wrong way. What a penalty from Modric. Yeah. Composure personified.
Yeah, really good penalty from Luka Modric. Alisson getting sent the wrong way again. And I mean, this is huge for Croatia. Another save from Livakovic, and they could be in business here, but yeah, really good penalty from the veteran.
It's going to be Pedro to step up for Brazil, the substitute. He's only had 3 caps for the senior team and only 1 goal.
So much responsibility on his shoulders.
The amount of pressure on his shoulders. Can he make it 3-2 in the shootout? It's Pedro. He takes a stutter. What a penalty that is. Sits Livakovic down and ensures Brazil are still in this.
Yeah, I don't usually fancy them little stuttered run-ups. When you are Brazilian, you do have a little bit of flair. We always back it. As you can see here, slows down, then stutters, and just forces Livakovic into the early dive and sends him the wrong way. Brazil still in this. Islan Orisic coming up now.
Zlatko Dalic cannot stand to look. It's Orsic. He can make it 4-2 in the shootout. Alisson hasn't made a save yet. He hasn't guessed right once yet. It's Orsic. Steps up. Alisson guessed right, but that's a perfect penalty. Right into the corner. And Croatia now look one step away from a World Cup semi-final.
What a penalty that is from Orsic under pressure. I mean, Alisson guesses the right way, but just take a look at this. Right in the corner. No keeper in the world is saving that one. Incredible stuff here from the Croats from the shootout. agony from Neymar. It's going to be Marquinhos.
Neymar hasn't yet taken a penalty. The fourth penalty to be taken by Marquinhos. Livakovic has made a save so far. He has to score. Marquinhos against Livakovic. And Marquinhos, he's missed! Marquinhos has missed! And the Croatians are through! The Brazilians will dance no more! And Dominic Livakovic is the hero! Croatia do it on penalties once again! And the favourites are out!
I cannot believe it, Lyle. The favourites have been absolutely dumped out of the competition. Look at their faces, they're all on the floor. Look at Anthony, tears. Tears of desperation and tears of joy for Zlatko Dalic. Croatia have done it, they've beaten Brazil. Absolutely incredible. What scenes we have here. And I mean, we mentioned it. Croatia just wanted to get the penalties and they've shown their quality. I mean, they've hit some stunning penalties. Alisson guessed right for two of them, but they were straight in the corner. Absolutely incredible, this.
Neymar in tears. He hadn't yet stepped up to take his penalty. He left it last, and that's the risk you take. The Samba boys are out. Can you believe it? You can never rule out anything in football. And Croatia, for the second knockout game running, they've won on penalties. And they are once again in a World Cup semi-final. Luka Modric and the boys, they've done it.
Yeah, it's going to be Croatia dancing their way to the semi-finals. I mean, complacency for Brazil. I mean, they took the lead and they just didn't hold on to it. They conceded that really poor goal from Bruno Pekovic. And in the end, Livakovic is the hero. He makes that crucial save and then Marquinhos hits the post. I mean, we're just going to have a look at it again here. He's just so unlucky, but hitting the post is always a tough one to take. But I'm a bit lost for words here at the moment. The favourites are out. They've absolutely crashed out. We're just going to get some final opinions from our executive producer, Connor Keenan. What did you make of that?
I'm lost for words. Where does that rank in quarterfinal upsets in World Cup history? It's got to be up there. The one question I have, where is Neymar? Why on earth is Neymar not taking a penalty? He's stepped up for his team. He's put his nation ahead in extra time in a quarterfinal. He's matched Pele's record, and he's waiting until the fifth penalty to take one. I'm lost for words. The favourites are out.
Incredible. I mean, Connor's just mentioned it there about Neymar not coming up to take a penalty, and I presume he was going to come up and take the fifth penalty, but didn't even get a chance, Lyle.
Didn't even get that chance. And like I said, that's the risk you take. So many times you see the best player wait until the fifth penalty, and you just cannot do that in knockout football. And it came down to that Dominic Livakovic save off the first penalty. Brazil, once again, second year running that they go out at the quarterfinal stage. Second year running that Croatia are a Final Four team. And they have proven time and time again, experience, doggedness, determination. It's all come to the fore. And at the end of the game, if you've just joined us, I don't know what you've been doing, but Brazil are out, Croatia are through. And that is going to do it, I'm afraid, for us, for the FIFA World Cup commentary for this quarterfinal game. The favourites have gone out. Dominic Livakovic is the hero. Neymar in tears at the end. Andrew, any final thoughts?
Just to clarify, Dominic Livakovic is Sports Gazette's man of the match for this evening. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. I can't believe it. The favourites are out. What a World Cup we have on our hands now as we enter the rest of the quarterfinals and the semi-finals.
What a World Cup. And the predictions so many had of a potential all South American semi-final showdown between Brazil and Argentina has gone out the window. So many upsets in this World Cup. What a World Cup it's been so far. And we've got so much more on the way. As you know, 7 p.m. it's Argentina versus Netherlands. But we'll be back very, very soon, taking you through a semi-final game. And, of course, taking you through the final. But that's been it from me in the studio, Lyle-Anthony Golding, from Andrew Smith and from Connor Keenan. It's bye for now. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.